Something's going on. There we go. I was wondering where the heck my volume was. There we go. Reese on the radio live right here on News Talk 1080. You scallywags, nutmeggers, and you conversationalists all over the fruited plain checking us out here live. That is a little hot. Anyway, got plenty of stuff, plenty of news, and plenty of views to get into today, so stand by for that. We have some guests coming in. We've got Pat Tomasiewicz. If I'm pronouncing his name right, I'm probably not. He is going to be in the building later on today. We'll talk to him about the arraignment tomorrow involving Joe Magnano in the shooting of Stevie Jones back during the winter. We'll talk to him about that. Also, we will have William Gifford from Turning Point USA and also running for a House seat in Connecticut's 8th District. He'll also be here at roughly about 4 o'clock. We'll talk to him. And plus, of course, all the news and all the views, as we always do right here on the program, whether we're online or live on the radio. Red Sox are playing now. I don't know what inning they're into. I'll check into that to look at the score. Also, I know we'll be going back to regular broadcasting in or around 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock. I think the game started at 1:35. So we're about to be about an hour in. Game usually lasts about 3 hours. So we could potentially end up back on regular radio at 4 o'clock. Nonetheless, you can always go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. If you're not on the Odyssey app and you want to watch the program, you can. So a lot of stuff was made, or a lot of hay was made about yesterday's guest, and that was Jaden McCormack. And I almost feel like everyone in Connecticut was listening to this interview, and we're talking about this story. And I said it in the 5 o'clock hour, a lot of you have to realize who you are in situations like this. Many of you stepped up and said that his beliefs on the transgender community, the LGBTQ community, about the assault on norms in our society, you understand coming from this young man. But for you, a bridge too far was his suggestion that the government should execute people who live in these lifestyles. He did make that claim when we're talking about people who are, one, perverted, people who harm children, people who are degenerates, which I know a lot of you understood that as well, but you just couldn't stand the idea that we would go to the lengths that this young man was going to, what we and I, you and I and everyone else considers people who have a particular proclivity or lifestyle when it comes to the people that they love. You were like, we're not those people. People who are depraved, who harm people, who have no regard for human life, especially children, yeah, of course. But just regular folks, no. That, again, it didn't sit well. And I said that it was worth you applauding yourself for responding the way you did, and responding the way that I did. Because I looked at the kid and I just went, okay, I didn't know any of that. I know that you were saying that, we should have a straight month, and you want to push back on Pride Month. It is unfair. You think it's unjust, blah, blah, blah. That if they're gonna be celebrating their sexuality, why can't we celebrate ours? I got that. And then when he went down the weeds of talking about executing people and sodomites and all that stuff, and I just went, what? I was like, hold on, this is far more than I expected. I really thought that this was just some kid saying, hey, I'm heterosexual. Let's, celebrate that too, since we're talking inclusive. But it was far deeper than that. Even the newspaper articles today, the UK Daily Mail, no mention of it. None. They've completely ignored it. The only thing they paid attention to, the fact is that he wanted a straight day. And in last year, in 2025, he hung a noose. They didn't even talk about what he said here live. It's like they ignored it. Not that I cared. It isn't about this show, but we're talking about context here, right? What does he believe? Anyway, doesn't matter. I mostly wanted to focus on something else. And that is the reaction to it. Jacob Dell as well, Pastor Jacob Dell. There is no way, and even the people who are online, there is no way you are telling me that you support his idea that we should execute people based upon their sexual orientation. Make that argument for me, that that's who we are. And again, as I just stated, not considering degenerates or people who would poison the minds or the bodies of children or anyone else who would force themselves in that way. I'm not talking about them, because that wasn't only what he was talking about when he was here. He's talking about anyone. So as people are trying to defend him or admonish Republicans who said, folks, we can have the debate about whether or not gender ideology, transgender in schools, suggestive books should be in the library. Of course we're against that. They all are. You know it. But the guy sat here and said, and refused to even consider or to modulate. No, the government should be responsible for executing people who behave within that lifestyle. Not the degenerates, people, period, who engage in that lifestyle. And there are people who are going, can't believe the Republicans are stabbing him in the back or coming for him. What? Only thing I'm asking you to do it. Again, I know that this will run afoul to some of the people who follow me on X or whatever the case is. But again, you know who I am. You see me in the street. Don't act like you don't know. I show up everywhere. If you got beef with me, come right to my face. Don't play that online gangster nonsense. We don't play that here because you know that I will see you anywhere and everywhere. All I'm asking you to do is simple and plain. Call me a backbiter. I don't care. But explain to me, is that what you're defending? I need to know. If you're going after Vin Candelara, if you're going after Jeff Gordon, if you're going after the Republican Party, what are you going after them for? What are you going after those people for? That they wouldn't stand behind a person who said that people of alternative lifestyles, gay folks, lesbian folks, that they wouldn't get behind the idea that the government should step in and execute those folks for who they love. That's what you're calling the Republican Party a bunch of wishy-washy people on? I'm sorry, I got to step in and defend them. I will take every phone call all day where Republicans drop the ball. But this one, they didn't drop the ball. They said, we are not those people. No one is those people. No one is. And I know Pastor Jacob Dell isn't. He so much has said it himself. It's like, look, I'll admit, somebody's got to grab a hold of the guy and just got to go, look, this is not who we... Yes, damn right. And that's what they did. They came out and said that is a bridge too far. The kid doubled down on it here 2 or 3 times. I looked at him, I said, come on, man, really? And the government should play a role in that? And now there are people online who are admonishing Republicans because of this. So you're not going to support them because they refuse to support someone who says that we should execute, lynch people for their lifestyle choices. These are the same people talking about freedom. We're not talking about freedom to commit criminal acts on people. This is what we're talking about. This is who we are. I may have to question my allegiance to a lot of people, much less friendships or associations, if that's who we are. I'll tell you right to your face, that ain't me. You will not affiliate me. Bounce from my... Don't follow me. If you don't want to, that's fine. It's absolutely cool. But I'm not that guy. I'm not. And I'm not going to play that. And I'm not going to worry about who is following me. I can't support that guy anymore. That's fine. That's fine. I told you guys from the beginning. This isn't about gaining fans. This isn't about gaining friends. It's not about that. I'm not like the rest of these folks who need followers. I could do bad all by myself, as they used to say. I'm good. I'm good. The people who care about me and love me, I'm good. I'm not running around looking for all these people, but I'm telling you who I am and what I stand for, no. No. The people will decide in the 50th district on Jaden McCormack. They will. And they have every right to, just as much as he has a right to say what he believes. I don't have an issue with that. But are those people who turn around, and again, here's the crazy part, right? So Jaden McCormack comes out and says, yeah, absolutely. If you are involved in sodomy and you are involved in this lifestyle, I believe that we should have a government that executes those people. And then you're sitting up here screaming, wow, we have to defend his freedom of religion and freedom of speech to say that. Okay. So the Republican Party comes out and says, no, absolutely not. We do not stand for that. We firmly stand together and say that that is not who we are. Running on our ticket as a Republican, we cannot. We ask him to step down because that is not who we are. And then you go, I can't believe that they would say that. All of a sudden, free speech goes out the window. Interesting how that works. You see, I truly believe I am more Republican than you are. I really believe I am more conservative than you are. Because you folks out there seem to dilly-dally in a lot of leftist censorship while screaming free speech at the same time. I told you this many, many moons ago when I talked about defending Alex Jones, and you guys said, that's crazy! Is it? And what did I tell you then, 3 years ago? You start questioning Alex Jones's ability to have free speech. All of a sudden, you start allowing free speech to be squashed in other spaces you don't agree with. People don't adhere to your brand of conservatism, and then you believe they should be silenced. All of a sudden, you become the censorship you used to admonish. Funny, huh? Now, I hate to have to do this, but it ain't cool, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't cool. The people of the Republican Party here in Connecticut, while we're running an election, the people spoke up on their values. That's what they did. And I am in no way telling you that you can't rip on them for it, but I am asking the question. See, instead of just saying, can't believe did you say that? You shouldn't. Never said it. Won't say it. You have absolutely 100% the right to do it. But I've got to ask the question, why? Why are you standing with Jaden on this one? Is that what you're saying, that that's the kind of conservatism you want from your party? Now, I know when earlier in the year, we talked at length about how the GOP is not standing for conservative values. We've talked about from Ben Proto to Vin Candelora to Ryan Fazio to Betsy McCoy, who's really a 100% conservative. The purity test was on. I told you that we can have competing ideals. That's who we are as conservatives, that we can be so big tent that, and we don't have to serve so many masters. We can actually say that, yes, we understand that concern, but we're going to focus on this as well, and we'll get to that. And we can say, okay, fine, as long as you promise that you are going to get to that at some point. But this is the big ticket issue. This is the small ticket issue. And some people are big ticket and some people are small ticket. And some people are big ticket to them who think that the larger, conglomerate of the Republican Party doesn't see so much as a big ticket. But you know what? They are all on the same page and we get together. But that's what the big tent is about. Is that this is important to me and that's important to you. And yet we can still coexist. But now all of a sudden, I'm starting to see in the Republican Party and conservatism here in Connecticut, the purity test is getting really, really tough to go through. Now it's just we take any and all ideas, even if they don't represent who we are. So I'm asking. So these people who are putting out the purity test, these people who are criticizing Republicans for standing up against the fact that we don't execute innocent people for who they love, I'm asking you, do we? I'm asking, is that who we are? Is that the purity test now? And if it is, just let me know. I can accept it. I'm a big boy. In my heart of hearts, I don't believe any of that. I don't. Can I tell you what I really think it is? I'll tell you what I really think it is. I think deep down, you want to beat up on Republicans in Connecticut because that's a default setting. I really do. I think this was an opportunity to beat up on Republicans again because you're dissatisfied with them. You're trying to find something that's like, see, they did it again. They let us down. I don't know what you were looking at. I didn't see that. I didn't see it at all. I saw something you guys didn't see. I saw an opportunity, at least for the news media, at least for the leftist activists. I saw an opportunity for you to get squashed. I saw an opportunity for every one of you to be maligned, for you to be called toxic. And you didn't see it. You haven't paid attention to it. You were literally walking into a trap. And I'm going to go right back to what I said about day 1 of June. Don't take the bait. And then somebody took the bait, and sure enough, look what happened. That's the conversation now. But it doesn't have to be. You went to the default setting on all of these things, and I keep trying to explain to folks there are ways to win. And by the way, this is probably going to be mean-spirited, but I don't care either, okay? No offense. You don't get to tell me how to win. You haven't been. When you start winning, you get to tell the rest of us how to. Until then, perhaps try another approach. I'm offering you one. You should at least consider it. Listen. Take an opportunity to hear, because I want what's best for you. I'm not here to admonish you. I'm not here to chastise you. And I'm definitely not here to lose for you. I want to win. I'm going to win. Even if it's about me. I'm trying to get you on that path. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio. What do you mean there ain't no break? There's supposed to be a break. I just fixed that monologue to go right down to the wire. There's no breaks. You see, this is just flying by the seat of my pants, and this is no. Well, when is there a break? Do we ever get to a break? You can speak now. It's okay. I can hear you. Is there ever a break? No, there isn't a break. I have to take off his mic in order. Okay, so we go to the bottom and the top. Okay. I did everything perfectly. I laid the whole thing out. Timing and everything. Looking up at the clock, figured it all out. Anyway, all right. Like I said, coming up on the program, we're going to talk to William Gifford. He is a Turning Point USA, I think, president at UConn. But he's also running in the 8th District. Another young person running in the 8th District of Connecticut. He's 21 years old. We got to let young people come in. Tomorrow we got a 17 going on 18-year-old who's running for office. She's going to be in here tomorrow. We'll talk to her. Also, we are going to speak to the lawyer, the attorney for Joe Magnano. His arraignment is tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I will be there. I think a couple of other people might be there as well, but I will be there to talk to the rabble-rousers who are sure to be outside to get interviews of that exchange. Of that court hearing and what they say outside the courtroom tomorrow. So stand by for that. Also, Erin Stewart in the news again, and this is an interesting thing that's happening. And I've been listening and watching online at the reaction to this. And what you are going to notice in the next couple of days is going to turn its head on the news media on this. And I'll explain what that is in a minute. So stand by. Top of the hour news coming up with John Silva. All right, we're back. Reese on the radio here. I'm sitting behind the scenes munching because I barely got any lunch. I was filling in at our sister station in Buffalo, WBEN. I was actually having some fun there today on the program. It's a different atmosphere when you do the show there, because the breaks are much like they are here when we're online. They go all the way from here, go all the way to the top of the hour. And it's like, that's a lot of talking to do when you're not taking phone calls and all this other stuff. But it's great for me because, I love to talk. I run my mouth all day. So it's a breeze for me. Faithfully says, I appreciate your honesty. Thank you. Matt says absolutely horrible. I'm with you, Reese, 100%. Lori says, when you look at the Democrats running the elected positions across the nation, I hardly find them to be the moral compass for anyone. Good point. Absolutely a good point. Ryan says, I don't think a lot of people that are complaining about this kid have actually heard anything that he has said on your program, as a lot of people are leaving those kind of details out. Yes, very good point. Because when I saw the article in the Daily Mail, that was never, ever mentioned. I looked at it. Somebody sent me the Daily Mail article, and my first instinct was, oh, okay, were we mentioned because he was on the air? Because think about it. Everything they talked about on WFSB or any one of the other news nations, he was not talking about executing people, okay? Unless he was, and I missed that. He talked about that here, which, again, when he was here, I was just saying, okay, what's the kid's controversy? I'm like, oh, it's a 23-year-old kid, heterosexual, says, hey, what about us? That's what I'm thinking. Just some kid, sort of nudging the left. And then he gets here and he says that, and I go, what? Whatever. Ryan also says, when I was talking to people at work about it today, they had no idea what his actual beliefs were. They just kept referencing that one post. There you go. Technically, Ryan, what you're saying here, without saying it, is that they should be listening to Reese on the radio. That's all. And what did I tell you folks before? What did I tell you? And I'm going to tell everybody in this whole state, all right? And I was talking to Adam 12 about this yesterday. You go on the news. No matter who it is. I don't care who it is. Go on the news. How much time they're dedicating to your story? No matter how compelling it is. How much time? 2.5 minutes. And most of it is just B-roll and narration. And if you're lucky, you get about, I don't know, I'll say at best, 53 seconds in a 2.5 minutes piece. You get about 53 seconds of you actually talking. So it's less than half of the whole piece. Come on, Reese on the radio. You're on the program live. Let me see. 4 o'clock hour. You hit it about 4:11. You're out of the first break by 4:27 and a half. When we go into Mark Christopher and the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Think about that time. You might even stay for another break. If it's a great story, you do it all over again. You get to tell your story, maybe with a couple of questions here and there, but I'll just let you go. If you got a compelling story, go ahead. Shoot your shot, buddy. And if you think about it, listen closely. More people listen to this program. If you're lucky and you're on the networks, somebody going into the kitchen, grabbing something to drink, they've missed everything. Your whole story. What do you think serves you better? Be it controversy or promoting yourself? Who do you think serves you better? There's only one answer. come on down to the show. And don't get me wrong, I don't even like having guests. I told you that from the get-go. What happened? Isn't it weird that when I first got here and this show first started, what did I tell you? I don't need them. I don't even care about guests. Not remotely interested in having you on the program. Don't care. Everybody else cares about the access. Everybody else likes the fact that they can pick up the phone. Hey, can you come on the show? Hey, can we do an interview? Hey, how about a one-on-one? They live and die on that. I came into this market. I said, I don't care. I'd rather come in here and beat up the powers that be. I'd rather come in here and just discuss it with you and play the sound bites of them talking and then go out there and talk to them in their, wherever their spaces are, their safe spaces are. Go out there and interview them and ask them tough questions and play it on the air, especially for those who don't want to be on the program. The people who I really want, Democrats. Sure enough, I did that for how many months? We started this in what, July? By the time I got here in October, maybe what, January at least. By January, 3 months in, sitting here on the ground, all of a sudden, hey, can I be on your show? Hey, can I be on your show? Hey, I'd love to be on your show. Hey. That's exactly what happened. When I didn't want them, they couldn't stop asking. Okay, can I come on? Hey, we'd love to have you. Okay, absolutely. So it's not like I need you on the show. I just created a space you needed to be on. That's what I did. And you should thank me. I fought for every one of those ears that listened to this program. I fought for every one of them. I did all the hard work. I worked day and night, ticked off my wife to boot. So it's the reason why you need to come on the program if indeed you want to get your story out. 2 minutes. Let me see. How many minutes is 11? Yeah, just over a little bit more than 14, 15 minutes per break. It's a hell of a lot of time. Stevie says, can I be on your show? Ricky, can I be on your show now? He's doing Lucy. Let me see. Boris says, no fish today. Detective accused of pointing gun at officer over microwaving a fish in the office. Oh, who hasn't wanted to do that, Boris? I don't know about you, but who hasn't wanted to do that? No, I'm kidding. But that's the one thing you don't do in the office, Boris. Don't get me distracted. I hate when people do that. I used to live in corporate. People used to do that all the time. It used to drive me through the roof like crazy. I had a story. I want to do this real quick since I have the time and we're all over the place. No, we'll do this. Should we do this one now? I don't know if I'm going to have enough time for this. Yeah, screw it. I've got time for it. Since we're, flying by the seat of our pants. Did you hear this recent story about the Southern Poverty Law Center? I know you guys heard about this. I know you heard about this. I was talking about this earlier on the air at WBEN, but this is just fantastic. There's a superseding indictment, I should say, that's now out about the Southern Poverty Law Center. And what it reads will blow your mind. And I don't even know what to say. It is funny, crazy, and ridiculous all at the same time, but it is such a good story. So a superseding indictment adds fresh allegations in the April case against the Southern Poverty Law Center. Prosecutors say the organization secretly funded more than $4 million of donor money to individuals tied to the KKK, the Aryan Nations, and the National Socialist Movement, and other extremist groups. The money didn't just buy information, according to the filing. These field sources allegedly used it to recruit new members, to host and attend rallies, including helping arrange transport to the 2017 Unite the Right event in Charlottesville, purchasing cross-burning materials, and stock up on KKK robes and hoods. Do you hear me? The Southern Poverty Law Center was buying KKK uniforms and hoods. Reporting on the documents lays out specific examples. One source reportedly received over $1 million while he was in a romantic relationship with a Southern Poverty Law Center employee. Another known extremist leader got hundreds of thousands to stay active in the movement. There are claims of reimbursements for cross-burning supplies and payments to people who wanted to be out but were allegedly kept in. The charges stay the same: wire fraud, false statements, federally insured bank, and conspiracy to conceal money laundering. The DOJ alleges that the Southern Poverty Law Center used fictitious entities to move money and didn't tell donors or the banks what the contributions were really supporting. If convicted, the group could forfeit assets tied to the scheme. Now listen. Boris. No, that's Stevie. Stevie V said, are they designer sheets? They should have been. They should have been. Hey, listen, look, I know this may be an ass, but some of the guys are saying that the materials that we usually have on the sheets that we use, at the Klan rally, some of them make them itchy. Yeah, they were thinking about getting some high quality materials. Yeah, absolutely. I knew you'd understand. Absolutely. Yeah, we want some 500 thread ones. We were getting them over at J.C. Penney, but we were thinking we'd get something a little more high end. Okay, absolutely. How much funding can we get for that? We need about 75. 75 sheets. Hoods? Oh, no, we'll need that much. Actually, we only need about 50. 50. No. For some odd reason, some of these guys had hoods on their own. They kept them for years. It's weird. These people are crazy. I was reading a report earlier. Try this on for size. One guy got like $1.4 million over 20 years. It was a job. I think 1.4 or 1.6. I think it's got to be whatever. Whatever it was, in those 20 years, folks, he's pulling in at least $60,000 a year to be a Klansman by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Every year, he's going in and punching the clock. Gotta go spread some racism. Click, click. Can you imagine this guy complaining about the hours? Hey, I was just looking at my paycheck yesterday. Yeah, I didn't get no overtime for that Klan rally that was on a Sunday after 4 p.m. Yeah. Oh, HR? Sure, transfer me. Yes, I'm positive. I know I was there. There's photographs and everything. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, I had the hoodie on. You probably won't be able to tell it's me. This is just too much. They were running a full-fledged operation. They had employees. One of the Southern Poverty Law Center members had a relationship with a Klansman. I mean, talk about sleeping with the enemy. They owned a house together. Can you imagine their conversations at the dinner table? Hey, hon, what you do today? Well, today I put Ben Carson on our hate map. You mean the Negro neuroscientist, maybe? Yep. Well, damn, you guys are ruthless. What did you do today, honey? Well, burned a cross over by the Baptist church. Oh, it's big, too. The fact that these people were, they were clearly close-knit. It's just the dumbest thing I could ever hear. And it gets worse as it goes along, just more and more of the stories. How do you not put cameras in the courtroom on this? Like, this needs to be a public display. We all need to see it. All of us. We got to see every bit of it. As a later, we need defendants on the stand. How do you not? Just wall-to-wall coverage on Fox News. And make them, and you know what? Make it so prime time, right, that the other networks have to force their audience to hear about it. Make them talk about it. Because MSNBC is never going to cover it. CNN will barely cover it. There'll be mentions here and there. You know, maybe on a weekend show, what's his name? Mike Smirkonich or whatever that nonsense is. He'll say something about it to some degree. But others will try to dismiss it. But this is a huge case. This is one of the biggest and most well-funded civil rights organizations known to man. They were inside the annals of power inside the Department of Justice during the Biden administration. They were the guiding light towards what that administration was calling the rise in white supremacy. They were writing the mission statement of the DOJ. The Southern Poverty Law Center couldn't find or could not find racism in everything because they were making it up. And they were in cahoots with these folks. This one part about some of the groups who had actually said they don't want to get it. It said there are claims of reimbursements for cross-burning supplies and payments to people who wanted out, but were allegedly kept in. So there were Klansmen who were saying, hey, look, listen, in good conscience, I have principles. I don't like gays, Negroes, or Muslims. And I don't like your organization. I thought about it before. I was desperate, but I got to give you money back because I have pure white principles. And Southern Poverty Law Center says, there's no out for you. You listen to me, okay? You're a Klansman, and you're on the payroll. You take this money back, and you go out there and get them hoods. Hurry up. Spread that racism. Hurry up, scurry, scurry. I mean, I am stunned. I wouldn't be surprised if there were members of the Southern Poverty Law Center who were out there wearing the hoods themselves. Hey, look, Southern Poverty Law Center, yeah, listen, we couldn't, a lot of the guys had regular work and they couldn't make it to the big rally. They couldn't. So we're gonna need some reinforcements. How many people you got? Maybe your straight team can come out and put on some, what, they're all black? They can wear gloves. They're going to be hooded anyway. It don't matter. It don't matter. I'll tell you, it don't matter. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just going to, listen, I'll go and pick them up. Just make sure they arrive at night. No, ain't nothing going to happen to them. We'll know they're coming. That's all right. We'll just meet them at the bus station. I don't know what else to tell you. That's how bad this is. It's got to be everywhere. It's got to be everywhere. It's hard to believe there's wire fraud, only 6 counts. There's got to be more to this. I want more out. This is such a great story. And it's fun. It's entertaining and fun. At least for me. Whiteness, an existential threat, weren't we? That's right. You sure were, Lori. You sure were. You were being told that any given moment you would just react. Just out of nowhere, your white supremacy would come out. Why are those kids in my neighborhood? I don't know. Anyway, I just think it's hilarious and funny. It's going to be worth watching all of it. Anyway, when we come back at the top of the hour, I want to talk about these Erin Stewart allegations. And many of you are right in one sense, but kind of missing the mark on another. I want to talk about that as well, because you are, your outrage is real, but I think that there's a little bit of it that may be misguided. Erin Stewart brought all of this on herself, and I have a theory about why this happened to her. And I'll talk about that too. And I know when I do, there's a third rail I'm about to touch on this subject. And there are going to be people in her camp who are going to be upset about it. I don't care. Because, let me put it this way. My wife, Roseanne, is in charge of the finances in our home. And I am absolutely nervous about disrupting her financial plan for us. She looks at everything from a debt perspective. Make sure we're paying off credit cards. Make sure we have enough money for the essentials. What money's coming in, what money's going out, and for what. She is very particular about that. Where can we spend money, where we can't. And it's just the both of us. Why? Because we have expenses. We have the boy going to school. It's about to go to college. There's a cost we have to take in that. Again, it's an increased cost as he begins school. Sometimes, we were a little upset that he took a year off. But if you think about it, kind of gave us some breathing room. Then he threw us a haymaker when he turned around and told us he was going to go in a month early. But again, because she is so meticulous in that, I have to watch every penny. So I will literally text my wife and go, hey, listen, can I spend $70 on something? And she was like, yeah, honey, of course you can. You don't have to ask me. And I go, look, no offense, you've trained me. In the 5 years we've been together, you run the finances. I never want to run afoul of that. Yeah, I may get an impulse buy. I'll see something that I want. And I go, I really, really want this. Can I have this? And we're like, sweetheart, it's your money too. And I go, nope. You got a plan. And I really do believe that. Do I believe $70 is going to make us or break us? No. But again, she trained me that way. That she looks at the finances. I'll be sitting in there and she'll have this look on her face and she'll have her hand on her head. And I was like, what's wrong, honey? And she goes, nope, just going over the finances. And I go, because I'm always worried she's going to tell me, we need $700. Go out there. Get on the street. That's always what I'm thinking about. When is she going to start pimping me out in the world? We need $400. Stat, get on the corner. So I'm just confused. So when I think about my own life and I think about even some of your own finances and how you look at them, I look at Erin Stewart and this money. And we're talking thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Can't help but ask yourself, did anybody go, hey, can we afford this? Hey, where's this money coming from? There's no way you can miss it. Unless, of course, you're just, absent. Let's get to the top of the hour news. John Silva's joining us in a little bit. We'll return. We'll talk about this Erin Stewart thing when we return. Stand by for that. It's Reese on the Radio.
Fed up. tax bill thick as a phone book. Road still look like a war took. Every town got a closed up storefront, but they brag on a chart like we all good. Giving sweet talk, not solutions. Same crew, same confusion. We see yachts, we see budget cuts. You see growth, we see illusions. Grandma choose mids or the heat on. Kid rides 3 buses just to be gone. Classroom packed, teacher burnt out. Governor act like it's all fine. Move on. Every year, same speech, same promise. Checks to the top, still jobless. You said progress, we saw profit. The whole state tired of that nonsense. Vote them out, say it loud. Connecticut, we done with them now. We showed up, got sold out. This November, time to throw him out. Vote them out, say it loud. From the cities to the small town crowds. We showed up, got sold out. This November, time to throw him out. He talk business, we talk rent, dude. He count millions, we count cents, dude. You see green, we see concrete. Closed parks, cut trees on our street too. Cronies get deals in the back room. We get bills in the mailroom. You smile wide on the talk shows. We stuck in the same little bad news. Look at the trains, always delays. Look at the schools underpaid. We ain't just mad, we engaged. We at the polls, this the day. This for the nurses on double shifts. This for the parents who can't afford gifts. This for the students with 10 side gigs. This for the state that you said you live for. Vote them out, say it loud. Connecticut, we done with them now. We showed up, got sold out. This November, time to throw him out. Vote them out, say it loud. From the shoreline up to the clouds. We showed up, got sold out. This November, time to throw him out. Who runs the state? We do. Who set the date? We do. Who choose the fate? We do. He had his chance, we threw. Who got the voice? We do. Who make the choice? We do. Ballot is power we use. This ain't his seat, it's ours to move. Vote them out, say it loud. Connecticut, we done with them now. We showed up, got sold out. This November, time to throw him out. Vote them out, say it loud. Every district, every block, every crowd. We showed up, got sold out. This November, time to throw him out. Yeah. Yeah. Pull up to the spot with a trunk full of cans. Bag dragging like I robbed a couple trash cans. Lady at the window, sir, I need some ID. I'm like, it's just 10 cents, you don't trust me. You counting on my bottles like I'm moving weight. Got 3 forms of proof just to clean your gate. 100 cans or more, show your license on time. Guess my nickels and dimes worth more than my vote line. They say my can's worth more than my ballot. 10 cents shining like a Goldfield chalice. Show ID for the soda, but not for the sign. Guess my vote ain't worth a dime. They guard that nickel like it's Fort Knox solid. But anybody, any nigga still drop a ballot. If cash in a card is a hill they'll climb, then my vote ain't worth a dime. Oh yeah. Down at the school where we stand in that row. Sticker on my shirt, I voted old glow. Asked the man in charge, you need my license too. He say, nah, grab a pen, we believe in you. So I'm trusted for the leader of the whole blue sky, but not trusted with a bag full of cherry cola high. Lawmakers in a circle say it's just our design. $100 in recyclables beats a ballot every time. Worth more than my ballot. 10 cents shining like a gold-filled chalice. Show ID for the soda, but not for the sign. Guess my vote ain't worth a dime. They got that nickel like it's Fort Knox solid. But anybody, any nigga still drop a ballot. If cash in a card is the hill they'll climb, then my vote ain't worth a dime. Hey, got my license for the cans, passport for the glass, bursar for the bottle, social for the trash. They say protect the money, every cent, every time. I say protect the power, that's the real bottom line. So bring my bags, bring my lap, bring my ID card, and bring my questions for the folks up in that state yard. If 10 cents makes you careful while you watch every line, why my vote treated cheaper than a soda machine sign? They say my can's worth more than my ballot. 10 cents shining like a gold-filled chalice. Show ID for the soda, but not for the sign. Guess my vote ain't worth a dime. They got a nickel like it's Fort Knox solid. But anybody, any nigga still drop a ballot. If cash in a card is the hill they'll climb, then my vote ain't worth a dime. Guess my vote ain't worth a dime.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio live right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. So, new report drops. More investigations into Erin Stewart and her mishandling of things like P cards. Now I think that the new story is about paid leave, vacation days, things like that. And this has sort of brought up the question of whether or not she was using New Britain, the city of New Britain, as her own personal piggy bank, looking for more and more ways to enrich herself. Not that there isn't the debate of whether or not she did great things for New Britain. A lot of people have said that. If you listen to folks who are in town, it's like, no, look, she did a lot of great things for New Britain. She cleaned it up here. She did this. She did that. She lowered taxes. Again, all of that can be true. Both things can be true. They're allowed to exist in all of this. Okay? There may be a reason for the appearance of entitlement even in all of this. Sort of saying, look what I've done. I don't think the paycheck is enough. I don't know. I'm just saying. The question is one, whether or not it's criminal. Two, if it's unethical. Three, if it's both. There becomes a problem. And it lends itself, all of it does, in the idea that Connecticut is just a place where people get into politics because there's a way to line their own pockets, regardless of party affiliation. Okay, that may very well be true. And Erin Stewart has to answer for that. Let me go back to the original point that I made before the break. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars over a matter of years. Somebody had to know other than Erin, unless, of course, what you're telling me is that she was doing this under the without anyone else in her family, immediate or outside of it, ever knowing. That people looked at this stuff and said, you don't make enough money for this. We don't have enough money for this. Where are we getting this money from? Or is someone going, all right, whatever, okay, as long as, look, if you're saying that it's kosher, I believe you. This isn't me saying that somebody else is culpable or anybody else should be punished. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you care about somebody and they're doing something underhanded and you know it or there's suspicion of it, you don't ring that in and you don't go, hey, this may not be good. We have a family. Okay? We have a reputation. We live in this town. We have to care about how this is going to look, if this is going to affect our family in a dire way. If this is criminal, somebody's going to jail. And how long is really determined on how bad this is. It begs the question, who knew? Who didn't know? I'll go one step further. And again, this is where I step on the third rail. Who told her you can do it and no one would notice? It begs the question. Why do I think that? Let's just lay out the evidence here. There are a hell of a lot of breadcrumbs here, aren't they? Erin Stewart gets out of office, and before you know it, boom, 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 boom. They're just picking stuff up. Day in, day out. This last week, it's just one after another. Finding more and more impropriety. Everywhere. Just laid out there, just sitting around. Now, one of two things can be true, if not both. She could have done all of this dirt, at the same time ran around and made enemies. And the enemies just sat around and said, yeah, okay, Erin, wait till you're out of here. Got something for you. And it's not about whether or not they got their cut. She could have done some people dirty. And it couldn't, I'm not saying somebody dirty like stealing from them or taking from them, but just say, let's say mismanaging that relationship. Someone turned around and says, I got all the dirt. And trust me when I tell you, I'm exhausted by the amount of people who have been calling me and contacting me about the dirt they have. Exhausted. They call a lot. And they've got everything. That's why when these people come around and they report a story and they go, hey, did you see the latest one? I go, yeah, there's more. Don't worry, there's more. And what happened? Didn't I just say this the other day? Didn't I just tell you this the other day? Don't worry, there's more. Keep telling you, more comes out. You're like, damn, what does he know? A lot. A lot. There's more. But I want to say this. As much dirt as there is, the news media and the organizations that are digging into it have to concern themselves with one thing: backlash. And it's already begun. You see, now William Tong just entered the fray just yesterday, investigating some of her charities, a golf tournament. And then today's investigation about sick leave and things like that. And some people are starting to say, hey, man, this is Connecticut. Hey, man, this is Corrupticate. Why is it that there's no one out there really finding all the corruption? Are they just focusing on Erin to give the impression that, look, we're on it. We're finding the corruption no matter where it is. And every day we've got something new on Erin Stewart. But everybody's going, hey, where's that investigation into Doug McCrory? Why have we not had any resolution on that? We know that people met with the FBI. We haven't seen the results of that investigation. We're talking millions of dollars. Not that Erin Stewart's hundreds of thousands of dollars isn't an issue, but we're talking about, what, to the tune of $15 million that came out of the state and federal grants. There's no resolution to this. We're not seeing any arrests. We're not having any stories on that. Yeah. After a while, you're going to have to start spreading the wealth, as they say. Because piling up on Erin Stewart, and again, this is in no way forgiving her of whatever it is she may be culpable of. The bottom line is that the oversaturation of one investigation into, or several investigations into one person, when you know that there were plenty of people who are running around here corrupt, lining their own pockets, and there's stuff we know on the surface and underneath it, and nobody's covering that, some guys are going to have to say, I mean, if you're really into this, if you're really into the getting our tax dollars back, if you're really into uncovering corruption, don't go down the road and then only half-ass it. or give us piecemeal. See, we care. Do you really? Because if we're going to go back to the business of usual, like once we completely condemn this woman and she gets an X amount of years in jail and it's over, all of a sudden we don't care about the corruption? Doug McCrory is old news? Terrence Chang, old news? We understand that there's P-card charges up to $50 million in the state. $50 million of P. What? What? And no one's investigating it? Hey, seriously, let's go with the momentum. Right? We're talking about corruption now. Let's go. You should all now be invested in getting us our money back. Forget about the surplus after surplus that Ned Lamont keeps talking about. Hey, let's find the fraud. Talk about a surplus. Imagine what we'd find. Imagine how much money we'd recover. You think, and the news media is always stupid when they do this. They go, whoa, there's another one. Whoa, there's another one. They're going to love this. I'm already seeing it. People from all stripes are saying, yeah, man, okay, no offense, but I get the whole Erin Stewart thing, but you guys got some other fish to fry. Why are we not seeing anything over here? What about that, and that? You guys all seem to be standing in one direction, all like running. We got stuff over here too, folks. And we're talking about billions of dollars. Trust me when I tell you, billions of dollars of corruption happening in the state of Connecticut. Billions, billions. And they're going over here on Erin Stewart. What do you think, you're going to get a Pulitzer for this? You know that there are bigger fish. Trust me, there are perp walks that would win awards for the corruption that's happening in this state. So again, I'm all fair game. Got no problem. Erin Stewart, make your bed. You got to lie at it. Know how it goes. But you're going to run into a buzzsaw, news media. Here's an opportunity for you to really, and talk about getting the audience's attention. You guys start doing what you're supposed to do and start saying, you know what? Erin Stewart's not the only one. We investigated this. We investigated that. We investigated this. Look at what we found. Lori, I want to agree with you, but let me tell you why I don't. Lori writes in the chat room. She says, no. She goes, it's because it's the Republican Party. That's why. No. This is an important thing to note in the Erin Stewart thing. Erin Stewart's fall from grace is because they keep using the term front runner. That's the bite. That's the meat of all of it. Once a promising governor, now a fall from grace. The once front runner for the GOP has reached calamitous damage control. That's all this stuff is about. That's all it's about. A promising career in politics. The 6-time mayor of New Britain. Yeah, that's all it's about. Is it 6-time? Or whatever. Oh, who cares? Bottom line is that's what it's about. This is Schadenfreude, a rising star. Fall from grace. It's barely even about the corruption. It's about Schadenfreude bringing her down, a princess story. She's a woman. It is. It's easy. I'm sorry. The story writes itself. That's how these newsrooms work. That's exactly how they work. The story is usually about, when this corruption comes out, who is it about? It's about guys. It's usually about men. When it's a woman, oh, there's meat on that. There's meat on that bone. But guess what? They must remember, because they're going after a woman with young children, there are people who are saying a little bit after a while, it's like, I apologize for the way that I phrased this, but it's important so you can get the graphic, okay? It's beating up a woman. That's what it is. Understand this, and people in newsrooms understand this. It is beating a woman. It is the public beating of a woman. And after a while, in the beginning, and it starts off, you're just like, see, I told you that such and such was corrupt. And the people who don't like her, it's immediate. It's like, see, I told you, never liked her anyway, blah, 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 blah. Then after a while, it's like, oh, okay, this is a little overkill. I don't think I can sit here and just watch somebody beat up on this woman that much. Okay, I get it. All right, she did some corrupt things, but this is looking like you guys are really trying to destroy her. And it's uncomfortable for people to watch. If it's a dude, beat him to the damn. If it's a man, destroy him. Okay? Destroy him. In the news media, oh yeah, unrelenting. They'll drag that story out for a year. The woman, after a while, nope. Some people just go, yeah, it was okay in the beginning. Had a lot of high potential. Let's bring it down a notch, guys. Because then people, and especially ladies, they'll start feeling empathy for her. And they'll start telling the news media, hey, you know there's more corruption out here than her. We got it, okay? Yes. She's going to do her time. She's going to go to court. She's going to defend herself. But let's get to the real corruption out there. We know it. I'm telling you, mark my words. That's exactly what women are saying and thinking right now. You cannot like Erin Stewart. You cannot like what she's alleged to have done and all those things. But keep beating up on her. Just keep flooding the airwaves with stories about her. They will see her face, and after a while, they just go, okay, I'm starting to feel sorry for her. She may be a colossal mess, but I don't think I can watch any more of this. And then they'll start asking. They'll start going for the people who are reporting on it. Are you sure you can't find other corruption here? Because I'm sure that there are plenty of people out here who are doing far worse than her. And they'll start saying them. And then you guys will be looking around just going, well, I'm sure there is, but where do I start? I don't know. But Doug McCrory's a start. And there are plenty of other places. If I remember correctly, it was John Larson who was just talking about the dark money in the Luke Bronin campaign. Why is that not a topic? John Larson's about to have his entire life uprooted. He spent a lifetime in politics. He's about to have that completely removed, yanked by a young upstart who is the former mayor of Hartford. This guy is actually failing up. Luke Bronin, he's failing up. And now that there's word that there may be dark money in the campaign, allegedly, no talks, no conversation, no looking into. Just a little snippet in the paper. John Larson said there may be dark money. Today in weather. Really? But that's okay. I said this before, I'll say it again. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Go right ahead. Do your thing. I'm going to be right on this show, playing this clip back to you. That's what I'm going to do. And you're all going to say, damn, he called it again. It's what I do. I don't tell people what I think. I tell them what I know. Anybody can tell you what they think. That's easy. It's called an opinion. I just follow the tea leaves. Jeffrey says, totally sucks. She had my vote. Fred says, Connecticut loves an old-fashioned thrashing of a white woman on a sound green. It's in the DNA. I know, that's... you couldn't be more right, my friend. You couldn't be more right. Oh, man. Anyway, Lori says, like when you're a kid comes home with stuff and you know they didn't have the money to purchase it after going to the mall. Yeah. Yeah, damn, Lori, you bring a story. But as soon as I read it, I thought of Ethan. We were just coming from Temple, and we're sitting at a diner, a French diner, in Upper Manhattan, Upper West Side, and we're there with his grandmother or their grandmother, my daughter or my son, And he pulls out one of those Tamagotchis. I think that's what they're called. The little it's like a digital pet. And I don't know why, but I didn't recognize it. And he had it, and I just went and I said, "Did you get another Tamagotchi?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "When?" Like in my head, I'm like, the only person who takes you to the store is me. Right? When you go buy video games, I'm the guy who takes you. So I'm like, "Where'd you get that?" And he goes, "I went with Ayla to the Toys R Us store." There's only one Toys R Us store, folks. It's in the center of Manhattan in Times Square. And at the time, my kids were no older than 14. Okay? The oldest is 14. The young one, 4 years. Yeah, that's right, 10. And they were in the middle of Times Square during the day at Toys R Us. And I immediately looked at them and I went, "What?" And Ayla looked at me. She was like, "Ethan." She had been cold busted. Because she took them there. So, but yeah, you just, again, as a parent, you recognize it. As a family member, you recognize it. We're spending how much on what? We're a member of what club? Where do we get this money from? Do you know how much that club is? For a membership? We've got that much money to do that? Somebody says to you, "Don't worry about it. No. Listen, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's covered. It's covered." I don't know if that lasts for long. It just doesn't. Anyway, all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. I'll check on the scores, see when we are going to be returning to the regular airwaves. But stand by for that. Much, much more. Very soon, we're going to have, what's the kid's name? William Gifford from Turning Point USA and also running in the 8th District of Connecticut. We'll talk to him soon as well. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio, WTIC, News Talk 1080. Why you keep telling me that darn it, there are no breaks. He keeps reminding me there are no breaks. It's the clock that I'm used to. It's the clock that I'm used to. There are no breaks. Couldn't we find a break? So we have no commercials. We have no breaks. It's a muscle memory. I keep following the muscle memory. I look at the time. I look at the clock. I do this every day, 5 days a week. I can't, it's hard for me to remember this. It's hard for me to remember. My body clock is telling me that I'm supposed to go to a break. This is the reason why I'm never going to get it. All right, whatever. That's the deal. Anyway, William Gifford's coming up from Turning Point USA, also a candidate in the 8th District. Running as a Republican, as you could imagine. Also coming up, we're going to speak to Pat Tomasiewicz, who is the attorney of Officer Joe Magnano. His arraignment is tomorrow. That should actually be brief. Tomorrow, I don't expect it to be any longer than about 10, 15 minutes, but I'm going to be there to talk to whoever's outside. Well, I'm sure it will be the NAACP who will be there. And Black Lives Matter 860. I will talk to some people there, see if they get really upset. I'm hoping that they do. I'm hoping that they lose their minds as well. Also, we have some new details we're going to get into tomorrow on the investigation into Bright Path. Yesterday, Sam the man on the street got some new details. He went down to the Avon police to go FOIA some of the warrants, and they gave them to him. The details are graphic, as you would suspect. We're going to try to keep it as clean as we possibly can when we go over them, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. So stand by for that as well. Looks like, hey, young man just showed up. Okay, he's here. We're going to go to the bottom of the hour news real quick, and so stand by for that. Here's John Silva. We'll be back. All right, Reese on the radio back here. Our guest has arrived, William Gifford, who is with Turning Point USA, also candidate for the 8th District of Connecticut. We'll talk to him in a little bit. He is here early. And by the way, I'm applauding him because I love it when the guests come in early. Gives me an opportunity to talk to them. And plus, they get to see me on stage live. You know, I will tell you all of this. This is very, very true. I've been back and forth on Kanye West. In one level, I'm sort of Kanye West is like, that guy's crazy. Another time, Kanye West was like, okay, maybe that guy's got a point. And then Kanye West does something else, and I go, holy crap, that boy's crazy. And I've never missed a beat on Kanye. I go here, I go there, I go here, I go there. But Kanye has said one thing that I believe is 100% true, and I endorse 100%. I regret the fact that I will never, ever be able to listen to my show live. He's 100% correct on that. By the way, I said that to my wife, William, and she just looked at me and rolled her eyes. She says, oh, it's your humility that attracted me to you. I'll listen to my show back. I've listened back to my show, and it doesn't have the same feeling. It just doesn't. I would love to have listened to myself live, just once. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. Again, William Gifford is here, Turning Point USA. It's nice to talk to someone who is a part of that organization, and I have plenty of stuff to share with you about that, you're going to learn. My wife, and of course, Charlie Kirk, he really touched my wife's life in such a way, and his passing, I remember hearing, we were on the air live, and we were living in Texas at the time. And in the background, as I'm live on the air, I hear my wife scream, like belt. And all I hear is, oh no. And she runs into my office while I'm live on the air. And she's shaking. And she says, Charlie Kirk has been shot. And I'm live on the air, and I have to report that. There's only one time in my life that has ever happened where live on the air I had to report such bad news, and that was my first day in radio on September 11th. So imagine the shock there. I'm just like, my entire life was just up. I was like, wow. And Charlie Kirk was just one of those guys who politically was kind of in the periphery. You know what I mean? It's like I watched his videos. I thought he was absolutely educated, knew all the issues. And entertaining. I love the exchanges between he and people on the left. It's what I do in my own life, here on the radio, is I chat with people online and talk to my friends. So what he did was absolutely profound. So to meet somebody who is a part of that organization, it's an opportunity. For me, it is an honor to have you here, and what you represent in Charlie's stead. You know what I mean? It's just being here and being a member of that. We support them wholeheartedly, and a lot of folks who listen to the station in this very network. I wear Charlie Kirk shirts on this show all the time. Anytime we get an opportunity to see them, we'll grab a Freedom shirt, we'll grab a Charlie Kirk shirt, because we think about him all the time. So I'm sure that your organization does and tries to sort of embody him and present that to folks. So I want to make sure that I say to you, thank you for coming out and doing this, and especially running for office as you are. We're also going to talk about you were just saying behind the scenes about this whole McCormack thing. I totally want to get your feedback on that as well. Olivia here is taking pictures of me. They say pictures steal the soul. How many parts of my soul have you stolen so far? That's a who? That's a great question. How many so far? I don't photograph well when I'm not told that I'm being photographed. I'm teasing. Like I want to be able to pose in a picture. I'm vain like that, Olivia. I'm just vain like that. What's that? Yeah, I'll be right here. Okay, good. Well, it's like, in the middle of the interview, I'll just look at you like, and I'll pose real quick. Let me see. Just reading some comments here. I think, was it investigate both parties is imperative yesterday? Good point. Let me see. What was the other thing? Okay, I didn't even read all the rest of those. Okay, I got into all of those. Okay, so we got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into also as well. Again, we'll talk to William. Stupidest thing I read today is also coming up. This one comes from This is a mainstream outlet called the Everyday Tradition. No, sorry, that's not the name of it. What is the name of this publication? I don't even know the name of this publication. Well, anyway, the headline of is why we need to decolonize, reimagine, or call out everyday tradition in this country. So yeah, that's the stupidest thing I read today. That's coming up soon as well. You'll stick around for that, William. It's a great. This one today is a great subject matter for the folks for the stuff that you guys are doing at Turning Point. Also, I want to talk about the CSCU investigation into all of the scandals, how much money they've been wasting, how much money has been stolen, and much, much more. If I can take a couple of minutes, let me talk about this story, because this has everything to do with elections. A new poll out today shows that Governor Ned Lamont is holding a solid lead over his Democratic primary challenger and state representative Josh Elliott. But the story to the left is running with is all about young voters. The survey was done from May 28th and 29th by the Change Research for Impact Connecticut, a Democrat advocacy group. It polled 887 registered Connecticut Democrats to likely vote in the August 11th primary. Without any extra information, Lamont led 58-20. After voters read short statements about both candidates, it lightened to 47-30. Here's the angle that they're pushing hard, and it's age. Among 18 to 34-year-olds, Elliott crushed it, 68% to Lamont's 22%. And I told you this was going to happen. Polling data never lies, but then again, I always get ahead of the polling data. But I told you that was going to be the case. In Lamont, it's not about his age. It's about his progressivism. And in order for Lamont to win young voters, he is going to have to get in a burlap sack and brawl like hell against the very left Elliott. Now they apply a little real-world math. This is an August primary in the middle of the summer. Turnout is almost always low, and the people who actually show up are older voters. The poll itself weighs the 50 and over group and represent about 3/4 of likely voters. That's not spin. That's how the primaries always work. However, Elliott does have a younger base, and he will use them. More than 40% of likely Democratic primary voters say they've never heard of Josh Elliott. Never heard of him. They say the poll isn't surprising and claim that one campaign is gearing up to build the future of Connecticut, while the other fights for the wealthy by pushing working families through overdependence on the regressive property tax. Lamont's team says that the governor is focused on results, lowering health care, child care, and energy costs for middle-class family. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, huh? The bottom line, Lamont remains the clear favorite heading into August. The youth enthusiasm for Elliott is real in the crosstabs, but turning that into actual primary votes in the summer is a much steeper climb. Now, do I believe that Elliott can do it? Yes. In fact, and I think I can say this guy's name. I don't think that he would call this telling tales out of school. And I really do believe the person who's saying it. Jonathan DeBarros and I talked a few weekends ago over the Memorial Day weekend. And Jonathan DeBarros said, and I quote, and I'm quoting him on it, he said, Josh Elliott's going to win this election in August. I went, really? And then he started to lay it out. As he started to lay it out, I actually started doing the research on it. And Jonathan was one of those people. Jonathan is always one of those people that says, listen, do not take my word for it. And I like guys like that. Don't take my word for it. Here's what I'd want you to look at and just see what you find. And I did. Just started looking up some things, started looking at some of these grassroots, started looking at some of the people that Elliott has aligned himself with. And it's true. Josh Elliott can really, really turn this election around by galvanizing the young vote. It is something that I also said that Ryan Fazio needed to do. He can galvanize the young vote by saying, listen, if you really want to get the old folks out of here, get down there and vote. That's the only way it's going to work. Now, there's old money and there's old folks. I don't say that disrespectfully. I just say that there's old money and there's old folks in Connecticut. And yes, it is an August 11th primary. And yes, there are a lot of people who are going to be vacationing and all that other stuff, blah, 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 blah. Okay? But remember, there's also going to be low turnout in the usual suspects that would vote for Lamont. There's going to be a road to hoe. Elliott can take advantage if he has a clear ground game. And from what the metrics look like, it is a close call. Why? Because the polling data should not be this close. It shouldn't be. Polling data should never be that close. See, people look at polling data, and I'm not disrespectful to the folks who are novices at this. You look at polling data and you look at the guy who's got the most, who's like, it's 57 to 42. And you look at that and you just go, yeah, clearly he won. And I go, no. A guy who's losing should be losing way beyond the margins. And when I mean way beyond the margins, not a 7-point, not a 4-point. He should be losing by double digits. And if they're not losing by double digits, they have a shot. Because again, it is likely voters. But if you galvanize, you can change things. And this poll gives him a shot, a true shot. Elliott knows this. That's why he cannot misstep. It's also why he won't come on the show. I don't blame him, though. I don't blame him. He shouldn't. He shouldn't. He should not. And that's, I totally get it. If he wins the primary, I'm hoping he comes here. I'm going to give him equal time just as I would Ryan Fazio. If he really, boy, would it be something if he took out Lamont. Boy, would it be something. But I'll tell you, I know where Lamont is weak. I truly understand where Lamont is weak here. One, this is a poll that never should be a part of your reelection campaign. 44% of people didn't want you to run. Should never be a part of your campaign. It's too high. That is too high. Why is that too high? It's real simple. When your polling data says in November that you are the 4th most popular governor, the November before your reelection, and also before you decide to run, your polling data says you're at 63%, the 4th most popular governor. When you decide to run, your polling data goes down to 48. That's bad sign number one. 2, 44% of the constituents in the Democrat Party don't want you to run for re-election. Both bad signs. You are headed for disaster. You are not going in with the momentum that you had literally months before. That momentum, everything about it, is confetti. It's tissue paper. Everything that you were being lauded about was literally manufactured by the news media who was trying to make you look good. It was trying to bolster you up. Look at these blue governors who are the most popular around the state. It was nothing. It was hot air, garbage, not even worth the paper it was printed on. When you are the 4th most popular governor, when you announce re-election, literally that's supposed to skyrocket. You're supposed to even meet, if not excel, that number. He didn't. He plummeted. Sure enough, the same people who were saying, he's fantastic, said, yeah, but don't do it again. That is the death knell. So I say all of that because what have you folks been telling me for the last couple of, I want to say years? There's no way he's going to lose. He's definitely a shoo-in. I was the first person to tell you. Think so? Okay. Now, let me do what's called the backbreaker in all of this. Elliott has a hand to play in this, and he's going to play it. Do you mind if I tell you what the hand is? It's real simple. It's going to be Lamont's age. His age is going to hurt him. Why, you ask? Joe Biden's book. Joe Biden. It's the thing the Democrat Party has been trying to get away from for the past week. 2 old Democrats. Ask John Larson. Ask him. The party has been saying that they need new blood. Why do you think 44% of his party didn't want him to run again? That's exactly the reason why Josh Elliott has a shot. And it's exactly the reason why he's going to be able to galvanize young voters. He'll simply just go, the guy's over 70. Why would we do this again? In fact, Josh Elliott said something in House's interview that I thought was very interesting. He said, I was in office before Ned Lamont, and I'm still younger than him. He said that Lamont doesn't even know why he's running. And when Lamont asked, what did he tell you? He said, I'm just getting started. At 70 plus? Just getting started after 2 years and 70 plus? And we got taxes through the roof, property and otherwise. We have people who are leaving the state, bouncing like rubber balls down south. People are still contemplating. In fact, people have a 3-year to 5-year plan to continue to leave. Why? Because they're under the impression this guy's going to win again. It's only going to get worse for them. And if they believe it, and here's the worst part, if they don't believe that Ryan Fazio is going to win because they have some doubts, they're bouncing because they know that Josh Elliott will more than likely win, and then this guy's going to go so far left they won't even recognize the party anymore. So there's only one thing to do, and people are constantly desperate about the idea that they won't have anything to fight back or to push back on this. They believe that it's Lamont or Elliott, and everybody's asking themselves, what's the lesser of two evils? Sorry to tell you, folks, there is none. This is not that kind of election. This is good or bad, and I'll tell you, if either one of these guys win, it's bad. You know it is. You know it is. Look around. Look around. I put up that post, by the way, that said how many of you are thinking about or know somebody who's thinking about leaving Connecticut. I put that up 2 weeks ago. It's still going viral. And it shouldn't. There aren't that many people here. People are still talking about it because that's how bad it's gotten. And when you're that desperate and you're that concerned, when the party politics or politics in general have become so bad that you're thinking that you can't even live here and you're actually thinking about where else can you survive, what are you willing to sacrifice? My home, my friends, my job, my life, and start somewhere new. That this place isn't the place where you had planned a long time ago to spend your golden years. And you can't do it anymore because for some odd reason, you got a target on your back politically. That's where you are. What else are you going to do? I'll tell you, for me, I got to be honest, I think the primary is going to be absolutely stupendous. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be interesting to watch these numbers as they come in. No one's even paying attention. Do you know there's no polling data on this? None? Nowhere? Isn't that wild? No polling. It's like no one even cares. It's like we are in an alternate universe. I have looked it up and I said, is anybody covering what's going on in Connecticut? Like, nope. Connecticut? Is that a state? Yes. Just above New York. East side of New York. Yeah, we've been here for a while. They don't care. It's no polling data. And the polling data that's out there, folks, with the exception of this one that I just read with like a little more than 800 people or close to 900 people, that's the most that I've seen in any polling data. Most polling data has got as little as 300 people in Connecticut. And they're calling that real polling data. Absolutely laughable. So, I don't know what to tell you. So, Josh, I really, really hope, and I know, who am I kidding? Josh, I know you listen. Call up the program. I know why you went on Brian's show. I get it. I don't take any offense. You know, Brian's not going to, he's not going to throw a whole bunch of conservative red meat for my audience sort of one. So I get that, a little passive on that one. But I hope you do come back soon. I could probably help you win this primary, to be honest with you. I think at least it'd be good for you. I just think it would be. Anyway, when we come back, stand by for it. We're going to talk to William Gifford. We'll get some feedback from him on anything and everything. And, of course, we'll talk about his campaign. We'll talk about Turning Point USA. Talk about him. Find out who he is. By the way, when we get back, you guys, you have a campaign website, I presume, right? You don't? Okay, you want to tell me about it? Okay, good. Because on your lower third on the screen, I want to at least put up your campaign website so if people want to contribute. Are you running this campaign through, well, anyway, we'll find out. I'm sorry. I'm so eager to talk to you, but, I have to do these talk breaks as they were. By the way, I got to check the Red Sox score because we usually get preempted by them. And there is a real story. Oh, look at that. The Red Sox look like they could come away with this. It's the Orioles, 8-1. They've got a shot, ladies and gentlemen. It's only the top of the 8th inning in Fenway. Who knows what could happen? It could be like the 2004 American League, what is it, the divisional series? No, it was the championship series. It could happen. It could happen. They could score 9 runs in 2 innings. It's possible. We'll find out. We'll keep an eye on it, so stand by for that. Coming up, your first check on the weather and traffic. Mark Christopher will be here as well. And don't forget, at 5 o'clock, when we are back on the air as well, Pat Tomasiewicz. I'm going to get it right. He is the attorney for Joe Magnano. He'll be here at 5 o'clock. He'll be sitting across from me as well. We'll talk about the arraignment that's happening tomorrow and what he thinks about the charges of manslaughter and just anything that we can get. I mean, there's not a lot that he can talk about or what his defense is going to be, but we'll see what we can get that's, it's within the scope of what he can do as a attorney. He is very protective of his client, as he should be. Also, we'll talk about, which is blowing my mind. You may not have heard this, but his GoFundMe has been shut down. We've been working to try to find out why GoFundMe did that, because this is a controversial case, but he is a peace officer, a police officer, and he is innocent until proven guilty. And they allowed, we'll talk about it later. It's just like, even as I talk about it, I'm getting ticked off. And I should never, ever get ticked off when I'm here and I'm talking about a story. Anyway, we'll take a break. Let's get to our first check on weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark. We're back. It's Reese on the radio. Just briefly, we'll be back in a minute. We got to go to traffic and weather in a quick second. But when we return, we're going to talk to this gentleman sitting across from me. He is William Gifford. He is running for the 8th District seat. So stand by for him. We got plenty of stuff to talk about, and we'll get into the thick of all of it. Everything. Party politics, Turning Point USA, UConn, him being a young 21-year-old guy running for office. You know what I was doing at 21? I don't even want to get into that. It was a whole different era then. I was doing music videos. Yeah, if you can believe that. That's another long story. So I'm just I'm always impressed by young people who want to get into politics because I wanted to do that as a young person, but just didn't know that I could. So I'm always impressed by that. So we'll talk to William with all of that. Also, we'll talk to the lawyer for Joe Magnano, the police officer who has been charged with manslaughter in the shooting of Stevie Jones this winter. So all of that is going on. So stand by with all of that. Red Sox game is wrapping up real soon. We'll keep our eyes on that, which still looks like we have an 8-1 deficit for the Red Sox, and we are currently sitting at the bottom of the 8th, which means that they could win it all in this inning. Yeah, likelihood. Unlikely. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, we are back. Reese on the radio live with our guest here. It is a pleasure to have him. I've never met the young man, but William Gifford is here. Let me turn the microphone up. That will actually help. How you doing, young man?
Good. How about you?
And I am fantastic. Thank you for hanging out for the half hour. You actually got to see me work, which is uncomfortable when I don't know people because, you know, it's like you get to see how the sausage is made and how I go through all of my progressions and all that other good stuff. But I'm glad you're here. Turns out you actually listen to the program.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Course.
I'm always stunned by who listens. And thank you bringing your photographer, Olivia. Are you a part of Turning Point as well? You are? Okay. You're like a who? Hold on. Let me do this because I you're like a what?
I'm the social media.
Social media.
Yeah.
Like
I'm kind of just here.
You're kind of just here. Well, you're taking pictures, so no, I appreciate you being here. So you just want? Is this like sort of like a part of your thing in like dissertation, part of your work?
So no, I have like a growing photography business and
Oh.
also a part of like the UConn portion. Like I just kind of started up with the social media. So I'm just kind of helping Will out, and we were doing an event earlier.
Well, listen, I'm always fascinated by people who do it. I've always wanted to be a photographer, so I never really had like the patience for it, but I appreciate you being here. Just get my good side. That's all I'm saying.
All good.
All right, just making
All
sure
good.
that. If you see an ugly photo or an ugly image of me, delete it.
Reese,
do not
I'll send it
share.
to you
Reese,
first.
how is she supposed to get the good side of my hairline? I don't know where this is at.
I don't know either. Thank you, Olivia. I appreciate you. So, William, you 21 years old. You're in, I guess, what year of college would you be?
Junior. I'm going in my junior year.
Going in your junior year. You've traveled a bit. I think you said you went to William Patterson
Yep.
in New Jersey, and you were doing broadcasting there.
Yep.
And so you have a little bit of this communication sort of background, so which is always good in politics. People don't know that.
That's true.
Because, again, to convey your message, you have to exactly know the tone and tenor in order to deliver what you want your audience or the folks that are going to support you to hear.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm actually a journalist, so I'm...
Oh, even better.
So I'm studying for journalism, and it works out so well because you actually have, you know, the investigative part of things.
Indeed.
Because you need to look into this stuff.
Right.
And one of the big things that I was taught was hold power accountable,
Mm.
which we can go into the whole education part of things a little bit later. But holding power accountable is so true.
Right.
So true. So learning that plus mixing that with politics is perfect. Absolutely.
It is so true because, again, as Ryan Fazio says, and I loved it the first time I heard him say it, you get to really prosecute the case against your opponent and why your ideas are better. It's not so much about bashing your opponent. It's prosecuting their ideas and why they are bad for the people who are going to vote for them or not.
100%.
For that matter. That's the sort of the journalism that goes into it. It's like knowing, not just knowing what you're talking about, but be invested in explaining that to the people who need to know.
And it's exposing the truth, too.
Indeed.
Exposing what's right and what people need to know. They need to be informed. Especially you need to be, if you want to be a voter, you should be an informed voter. Just because, you know, don't just vote on the Republican line or the Democratic line. Vote because you believe in that candidate.
Right.
So that's why we're here today, you know.
It is always about the values. When did you start your campaign?
So I got signed about 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Okay, wow, very early.
Yes. The reason being is because we've been dealing with some issues with the IRS getting EIN numbers and everything else in between. You don't need all the details on that. But because of that, we were a little worried on whether Tim Ackert was going to run. Because I'm running for Tim Ackert's seat. He's the incumbent.
Right.
And he's held the seat for 16 years. So
Wow.
we assumed after he ran with Erin and he was the incumbent, we figured, you know, he's probably just going to step back from lieutenant governor. He's going to go right into his seat.
Right.
He decided no. Because of everything that happened at the convention, with the GOP and everything, he was like, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm retiring from politics.
So he walked away from the lieutenant governor race because he felt bitter at the way that the GOP
100%.
responded.
100%.
I heard that, but I had not had it confirmed. Nothing against Tim Ackert, but he wasn't really on my radar in any
that's
way.
fair.
And because I'll be honest with you, I knew way before everybody
He's got the
what was
psyche.
going. I did. I just knew. I had the inside baseball. I had the inside track on what was going to happen to Erin Stewart. So I never really paid attention to it because, to be honest, and Tim, don't take this offensively. I know you probably will. I knew that at this point that there was going to be sort of a non-starter with your campaign immediately, and I thought that the baggage of Erin was only going to weigh you down.
It's true.
Truth be told.
Unfortunately, which I'm happy Tim's pretty vocal about this because I can speak about it. It's the fact that he felt betrayed. And
Right.
I don't disagree with him because he got betrayed by his own frontrunner who with all the stuff that came out with Erin, which I knew you predicted in the first place, but with all the stuff that came out, I understand why he felt betrayed. I understand what happened.
Because in essence, you are dragging that person into your muck.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not fair. It's not fair at all.
And it's, again, and you... it's sort of the guilt by association, so to speak, right? It's like everyone is asking, it's like, well, Tim, you joined this campaign. What did you know? And he's like, no matter how many times he professes, I knew nothing. There's sort of that air of, well, they had to have told you something,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
And that's where he felt betrayed. And it's unfair for him. Again, 16 years, in his seat. And now all of a sudden he's just like, screw this. I got to get out. I'm out of politics. By the way, Tim, you shouldn't do that. I mean, politics, even if it betrays you, please recognize that's what...
I would say I would agree with you, but in the fact that he is endorsing me and encouraging me to run for his seat.
You think that it's okay for him to... No, I'm just saying.
I think it's okay that he's stepping back. He deserves it.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying about, people have to understand about politics is like living with an unfaithful wife. It will betray you.
It's fair.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to walk it because it does. Politics betray you. And the reason why is because you never know how politics are going to respond.
Politics is cutthroat.
Exactly. It's like the people who originally loved you and cared for you. I go back to John Larson. John Larson has done anything and everything to protect his seat. And out of nowhere, the Democrat Party, his delegates turned around and put Luke Bronin in the driver's seat. And again, that's what she's just an unfaithful wife. She'll tell you all day, I'm not cheating on you, until you find out she's cheating on you.
Sure.
And then you have to say to yourself, am I going to continue to love her or am I going to have to walk away? And some people, like John Larson's doing now, he's staying in the primary, still begging her to take him back. But she may turn around and say, I'm moving on. Mm-hmm. That's the way it works.
It's true.
So, and that's what I'm saying. Tim Eckert, if you ever think about running back in office, you have a storied career. 16 years is a considerable amount of time. And not only that, he's not all that old. He's still pretty young.
Oh, yeah.
For politics. I hope he thinks about coming back in.
Tim runs all the time. I see.
Does he?
Yeah,
really? He is a youthful guy.
Yeah.
He is, absolutely.
100%.
So you're running in the district. You live there. This is your hometown. Why are you running and why so young?
So there's a few reasons for that. First of all, I didn't find out about anything about the nomination until about 9 p.m. the night before the, convention, as they call it, when they vote in the candidate. And I didn't find out until that it was a possibility because of the Tim situation. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what? It's a possibility. Why can't I do that? Mm-hmm. And I think, honestly, it is really important for young people to get into politics, period. Sure. And for me specifically, I go to UConn. Of all places, I'm going to see it the most there that there's a problem.
Yeah,
okay?
Sure.
And like I was saying with you, I can talk on the education side of things. Mm-hmm. It's awful. As a journalist, we're taught to be non-biased in our reporting, and yet every single class that I have gone to for journalism has been completely biased.
Really?
We're handed papers, we're talked about saying, oh, Trump's a fascist, Trump's this guy, Trump's that, blah, 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 because their reason being is, oh, he's so newsworthy. No crap, he's the president.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear about this when Biden was in office.
Never.
Interesting how that works. So that's why I want to run, because I'm sick and tired of seeing this one-sided left. I don't care if you vote on the left or the right. It doesn't really matter. The point is we need to stand up for what we believe in. Mm-hmm. And I'm a young Republican. I'm proud to say that. I'm proud to go around on campus and say that. And we can get into the turning point stuff in a little bit.
Yeah, we are.
With all of that, we need to stand up for each other. We need to stand up for ourselves, and we need to stand up for our people. And I guarantee you people are going to say, oh, he's too young. He's too young. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I know that I can learn from my constituents. I can learn from my people. And I'm not a politician. I don't quote to be.
Isn't it beautiful? See, what you just said there, and I need every politician, because I know they listen to this show, I need you to listen to what William just said here. Because this is where that divide happens in our politics. Many people will elect a person based upon their knowledge of politics. They understand how politics work. Without understanding the most important part of that role as being a politician or somebody who represents constituents, is that your job is to represent their interests.
It's true.
So when you say, Of course I'm going to be learning. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm representing the people who want me to go represent them. I don't know what they want until I actually ask, until I ask their consent. What can I do for you in Washington? Or what can I do for you at City Hall? What can I do for you that would make your lives better? Tell me, get out of your way? Talk about this? Get us a new traffic light. Whatever the case may be.
I need to know.
Exactly.
This.
You tell me, because then again, that's where it starts. You need to come to these people and go, for the longest, politicians have been serving their own interests. Aaron Stewart notwithstanding. They've been serving their own interest, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing that you've been saying is that they don't care about you. Well, that's why I'm your guy. I am not walking in there with my head full of air thinking that I know exactly what my constituents want. I'm walking into this place saying, how can I serve you? Tell me how, so I can go to these people down in Hartford and tell them, here's what they want in my district.
It's grassroots. It's bring it back to the door knocking, to the I want to talk to you phase. People get out of this notion of, oh, let me just watch them on social media. I don't like the stuff they say. I shouldn't talk to them. No, talk to them face to face and confront them with issues. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that I can go up to people and be like, listen, what's wrong? Why does this matter so much to you? Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we need to get young voters to vote. It's simple. And I'm not just talking about pre-30s. I'm talking about pre-50s in this, okay?
All right.
Because you can tell that most of the voters that we have, I don't know the exact percentages, but most of the voters that we have are on the older side.
Sure.
With the 50s to 70s range. We need to have confidence in younger people going out and registering to vote. And I know that from college students. I physically go out and do voter status checks to see if people are registered to vote. And I'm telling you, I had delegates at the GOP convention who were not registered to vote according to our system.
Wow.
It's worrying, especially because, you think you're registered to vote or not, and then all of a sudden, I'm not registered to vote. Why did that happen? Mm-hmm. See, there's all of these problems that need to be dealt with. That's why I also believe firmly in that you need an ID to go vote. Because right now I can take my UConn student ID and say, yeah, I'm going to go register to vote.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because that's what they do at UConn. They bus students from there, same day register them at the polls, put them as their residents as UConn, and then gets them to vote.
Wow.
So why can't we do the same thing?
I don't see why not. It's so funny because, I mentioned Reggae Don, who was talking about, he had posted a video. He'd sent me an instant message, and the video had showed a young man talking about how his parents, who are Republicans, got them voter registrations under their names, and they were underage. And his argument was, see, the voter fraud happens on both sides. And my response to him was, I don't care that it happens on both sides, dude. I want it to stop, period. Yeah. It's not a both sides issue. It's a stop the steal issue, period.
Exactly.
Like, stop fraudulently, registering people to vote who are not eligible. I don't care if there's an R behind the name of the person who's voting. I want it all to stop. I'm not sitting up here going, just Democrats. Like, no, nobody can cheat.
There's a law in Connecticut that states if you have been a resident of Connecticut for 6 months, you're allowed to vote in local elections.
Damn.
And that even includes students at UConn. So if you are, let's say you're a transient, you're from Minnesota.
That's right.
Okay. You can come vote in a local election because you stay at campus for longer than 6 months.
Right.
And they're supposed to go, are you registered to vote anywhere else? They're supposed to give them a call. And
right.
Why not? What actually happens is they give them a call. If nobody answers, they put the phone down and just trust their word. And say, yeah, you guys can vote. No worries. That's fine. Because Chris Reddy can actually attest to this as well. Because he told me that he went to bed with over 400 votes in the lead. He got up the next morning and lost by over 300 or 200 to 300.
Wow.
So it's like, come on, there's something going on here.
It's really, really bad. And they have no intention of stopping it because, they just went so far. Was it just a couple of weeks ago, Lamont signed that law about no restriction absentee ballot.
It's insane.
And that, of course, they did that after they got sued by the DOJ, about, relinquishing the voter rolls. And it was just like, hold my beer. Now we're just going to let anybody vote. It's like, it was insane. And I asked these people, I'm like, what do we do to prevent anyone from? I'll show you the video. I asked them, what are you doing to prevent anyone from fraudulently voting in these, with this absentee ballot? They were just like, oh, we'll figure that out after we sign the bill.
Right.
It's like, what?
How does
That
that
sound
make
like
sense?
Nancy. Yeah, it's like you sound like Nancy Pelosi. We'll stop. We'll stop the fraud after we sign the bill. It's like we'll know what's in the bill after we pass it. It's really, really obnoxious.
It's the same thing with Harris controlling the border.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Oh, don't get me started. William Gifford is with us. He is running for Connecticut's 8th district seat. And we'll have a website for him. We'll bring him back, or we'll have him call back so we can get a website for him. But keep him on your radar. I'm sure you're still fundraising, right?
Yeah, we just started because we got the EIN today.
Okay, so we get that.
It's been a thing. It's been a process.
I totally understand.
We're going to get this fixed.
You
I
got
promise.
it. We're going to get a check of weather and traffic. When we'll come back, we'll bring William Gifford back again. We'll talk to him about Turning Point USA, his time at UConn, and a bunch more. So stand by for that. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
Delays 33 down to 32. A and B northbound 91 moves well Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. If you are traveling westbound 84, delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's locked up about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing East Hartford 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound slowing approaching Harbor Park to the Aragodi Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound is slowing 32 in Berlin up to the 72 interchange in New Britain. If you're heading 84 eastbound, look for slow traffic approaching 17 up to the Mixmaster. Again, it's a little tight, 25A to 26 in Cheshire. Westbound on 84, you've got delays in Cheshire 26 up to exit 23. 691 westbound, the exit 8B ramp that takes you to 84 westbound. We've got an accident on the left lane, and that ramp delays are back to exit 7 on 691 behind that. And if you're heading northbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, look for delays approaching 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound Parkway slowing 50 into the tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A partly cloudy sky for the overnight with a low temperature of 56. The hot weather streak will continue tomorrow, mostly sunny, the high 93. 3 degrees off the record set back in 1925 of 96. Partly cloudy tomorrow night down to 63. The high 95 on Saturday with a thunderstorm late in the area. And then a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. High winds and downpours can accompany any thunderstorm on Sunday, the high 84. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Improper severance and tuition payments among the latest findings to come out of a report issued by a Hartford law firm today into former New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart. The Crombie law firm investigation found Stewart improperly negotiated separation payments for vacation, personal days, and sick time for herself and other staffers. Also, awarded herself a pension without the city's requirement, for one, and also uncovers that she was not eligible for tuition reimbursements to the tune of nearly $32,000. In Meriden, police have rounded up 8 suspects in a prostitution sweep. Detail began last month, and focused on the downtown area. A total of 8 suspects were arrested. All are charged with various prostitution-related offenses. State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has issued forecasts for elevated levels of ozone. The advisory runs through Saturday, with temperatures expected to hit the low 90s. Former Trump administration National Security Advisor John Bolton has agreed to plead guilty to a single count of retaining classified info under a deal with the Justice Department that will likely allow him to avoid jail time. The deal would resolve a criminal case that was filed last fall, charging Bolton with 18 counts of either retaining or sharing diary-like notes with family members. A new commission tasked with looking into how schools are funded in Connecticut began its work today. The Blue Ribbon Commission that was put together ordered to be put together by the governor, ordering the formation of that task force to investigate ways to update or replace the state's antiquated education cost-sharing formula. A report on their work is due by year's end. On Wall Street this afternoon, rather odd day. The Dow picked up 874 points. The Nasdaq lost 23 points, and the S&P was up 30 points. On the radio, the Red Sox fell to the Orioles 8-2 at the stadium. Yanks edged Cleveland 2-1. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
And Doug.
What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back, and we'll do stupidest thing eventually. It's hard to do under these circumstances when I have a guest, but I promise if I don't get to it today, I'll get to it tomorrow. There's always something stupid written in the funny papers.
Surprise.
Yeah, right. We're here with William. Why am I forgetting his name? William Gifford is here. Turning Point USA, also running in the 8th District. Real quick, because we have about 2 minutes. You joined Turning Point how long ago?
Technically last year.
Last year. What was the thing that brought you to Turning Point?
Honestly, probably, I was talking about it before, just the fact that I want to run and there's a lot of problems in education.
Sure.
But that is why, because the problems in education, the only way it's going to get fixed is people talk about it.
Yeah.
So if we can't talk about it and have a spirited debate about it, what are we doing?
Right.
We need to at least have a conversation.
Was it Turning Point in and of itself? Was it Charlie Kirk? Was it
Mix of both.
Introducing?
Charlie Kirk was a great front runner. Absolutely awesome dude. He started incredible initiatives.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he died this year,
or
last year, was oh my gosh, people, we need to step up,
Yeah.
And we had a huge influx of people in the beginning of beginning of this year, because of that. And, we're still, obviously, I'm the president of Turning Point at the University of Connecticut,
right.
So I can't speak for the actual, national organization.
Sure, of course not.
But what I can tell you is that they experienced a huge influx of people,
I can
including
imagine.
myself. We experienced a ton of people. And it's just the fact that we can have a debate, and then if people get mad, they get mad. I really don't care. The point of it is that we're trying to spread what we believe. And if people can't have a cordial conversation and understand that's what we want to do, that's the problem. That influences political polarization. I did a video at a protest where a lady literally had a thing on her sign that says "must speak up," and she wouldn't talk to me. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, it says "must speak up" on your sign. Does that mean that you not talking to me is going like you're being a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And I walked away, and I'm like, oh, okay. Sounds
so
good.
there's this divide that's brewing, but I think that challenging the narrative is very important. But what I also like about that sort of surge of folks after the death of Charlie Kirk, the murder of Charlie Kirk, what I found was interesting, and being a member of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, what I really, really love about the influx of people who joined Turning Point is that Turning Point is an organization that is driven by attraction, not promotion.
This is true.
And that's exactly what, and it should be, because the death of him and the reaction to it, the negative reaction, actually brought people to it. It didn't just do that, it brought people to faith just as well. And that was overwhelming. I love every part of that. That is
make heaven crowded. That's what we
want. Love it. Yeah, beautifully said. Let's take a break. We got another check of weather and traffic with Mark Christopher. He is back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. And if you are heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays moving down between exit 38 and 36, and then again delays 34 down at 32 A and B in Hartford. Northbound 91 is slowing by the Route 9 interchange at exit 22. Westbound 84 slowing east Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound tight 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you're heading Route 9 into Middletown, both sides of 9 slowing, approaching the Aragoni. 9 northbound in Berlin, look out for an accident between 32 and 34 as you move Berlin into New Britain. If you're traveling westbound 691, the ramp to 84 westbound, that ramp 8B, we've got an accident on the left side of the ramp, so delays are approaching exit 7 in Cheshire behind that. If you're heading toward Waterbury, 84 eastbound is locked up now, approaching 17 up to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 slowing from 26 up to exit 22 in Waterbury. And the northbound side of the Parkway tight, approaching 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound Parkway delays 50 into the West Rock. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got a partly cloudy sky on tap overnight. Some of those high clouds that you see right now will continue, and the temperature drops pretty comfortable down to 56 degrees. Mostly sunny and hot tomorrow. The temperature will reach 93, 3 degrees off the record high set back in 1925. Partly cloudy, pretty muggy tomorrow night, down to 63. We hit 95 on Saturday with a thunderstorm late in the day. Partly sunny with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm on Sunday. Could have some brief gusty winds and downpours. The high temperature, though, 84. That continues our journey back cooler on Monday with a high of 77 and less humid. And then we rebound back into the 80s Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday's high 85 with a partly sunny sky. Right now, it's 86 in Glastonbury. We've got 87 in Plainville, and we've got 86 degrees in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Did you know the average person uses a toilet 2,500 times a year, and the average toilet lasts 25 to 30 years? So with that in mind, wouldn't you want the best? Stop in today and see our extensive line of Toto toilets, the world's largest toilet manufacturer. Modern Plumbing Supply on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin, featuring Toto Toilets, a brand we proudly stand behind. No pun intended.
Great design with you. A high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. William Gifford, Turning Point USA, running for office in the 8th District. The 8th District covers, I'm new here, so I'm trying to get all the districts right.
All good. We got Columbia,
Okay.
Coventry,
Okay.
Lebanon, a little bit of most of Lebanon, a little bit of Bolton, a little bit of Tolland.
Okay.
So it's 65% Coventry.
I've been to Coventry, and I'm learning how to say it correctly. I got to learn how to say all these New England towns because apparently you say it wrong. For some odd reason, people get a conniption behind it. I said, my
Welcome to Connecticut.
My wife has never been in the Northeast, ever. She's from San Antonio, Texas, and I met her in Northern Virginia. We went to an event. Ironically, for all the candidates, we actually saw Erin Stewart there. She was at an event. We get there, we're driving, and somebody calls me on the phone, and they're like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'm on my way to some event with the Republicans. I think Betsy's there, but she may have left. But we're on our way to Coventry. And my wife turns around and says, it's Coventry. I went, you're not even from here. Shut up. I was like, what are you talking about?
Sounds so like it's Coventry.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
You're from Greenwich?
It doesn't even look like Coventry, to be honest with you. It looks like Coventry. So that is the area. This is where you're from. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Lebanon. I moved to Columbia, but I've lived in my district for all 21 years of my life.
All 21 years from your life, except for when you went to school and you went from here to there to everywhere, pretty much.
Yeah.
Family still there, I presume?
Yep.
Born and raised, that is true. And family, born and raised here or coming from out of town?
No, not in the district,
Right.
but came all from Connecticut.
All from Connecticut. All right. So you were, Connecticut, born and bred, family, born and bred here. All right. That's what I figured as much. So you go to UConn after you've been in so many of the, it's not like you've traveled the world, but you've been other places. You're here in Connecticut, you decide to run.
Yeah.
And I think, as you said, it's important for young people to run. For me, if I could tell you what I think about young people running and why it is, I'll tell you, because one, you're young and you don't have much baggage. I mean, the worst they could find out about you is that you put gum in a girl's hair in the 6th grade.
Or I got bad grades.
Yeah, okay, that's the worst they could find. Okay. So, but being young, it's like there's less mudslinging in a race like that, right? It's not the horrible things that you did when you were, married or all that other stuff. You don't have Plattner's problems in Maine. That's one, and then it solely sticks to the issues as a young candidate.
Sure.
Then it's what you know and what you plan to do with what you know and what you plan to do for the people you hope to represent. Mm-hmm. That being said, what do you hope to do and represent for the people in your district?
So the one thing I want to start out, I'm running on 3 things: education, guns, and electricity. Okay. That's the main 3 things. And I'll start off with education. First of all, we can talk about college. As you all know, it is completely and utterly liberalized. I cannot stand how obscenely liberalized it is. And when, in reality, education should be non-biased. I completely and 100% agree with that, especially as a journalist. It should not be biased at all, especially if you're teaching someone to be non-biased. How can you be biased when you teach them? That doesn't make any sense. But also, in the fact of tradesmen, I am a Norwich Tech graduate through and through. I graduated the tech school system, and I have to tell you, it is probably one of, if not the most important school system in this state, if not the country, because we have a dire need of tradesmen in this state. We have carpentry, automotive, HVAC technicians, plumbing, electrical, machinists, you name it. We need it, right?
Absolutely.
And there was a stat that came out, don't quote me on this number, but 150,000 machinists in the state of Connecticut, which is an influx, right? And these numbers are because it caters towards EB as well.
Right.
We have all of these people who are getting their tradesman certifications, et cetera, through EB, but they're not influencing the rest of the economy here in the state of Connecticut.
Well, they're taking their business elsewhere or taking their skills elsewhere.
Exactly. So they're providing for EB, but they're not providing for the rest of the Connecticut. And don't quote me, that's not everybody. So I don't want to say that's for everybody, but that's for there's a lot of situations here. And that's why the tech school system is so important. We're teaching high school students to get these certifications. Like, I was an ASE certified automotive technician. I competed in competitions throughout school. I even quit my job at Mercedes-Benz to stay in school to learn more because I thought it was more important for me to learn more about cars and everything else in between than it was otherwise. And I won skills states. I got 7th nationally as a tech student in skills, and I've been there. You know,
Right.
I was ASE certified in all 8 different categories.
Wow.
I've worked in the industry. I've worked small engine equipment, etc. I'm also a small business owner, so I understand.
Another one.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
It's good.
You young people are doing way beyond. I had to wait till I was 50 to own my own business, but goodness gracious. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. But with that, education's super important, and specifically, I think we should be realizing that technical education is really important. Now, going on to electricity, Eversource is a problem. We know
Without
that.
a doubt.
And with your public benefits charges and everything else in between, what benefit is it really giving us besides giving us no other choice? You know, there are other choices, don't get me wrong.
Some.
There are some, but if you look at the map that Eversource provides, it's about 95% of Eversource is across the state.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to AI, it's a 75%. But
Right.
how much can you believe that?
Yeah, it's considerable.
Needless to say, there's a direct monopoly that Eversource has. Why are we letting Eversource be the only option that some of these towns have? We need to have other options, especially other rates.
Especially when we know that with the lack of options, they can abuse with the public benefits charge, which in the end is nothing more than a piggy bank for this governor to use to fund things that no one asked for.
Yeah, or we're promoting, say, things like solar, okay? We're promoting solar, but we have to go through that whole bureaucratic process in order to get approved for it.
Yeah.
I know, for example, me and my parents just got solar on the house.
Really?
Yeah, we
Okay.
just got solar done on the house, and we still have not activated yet because they haven't given us the green light to turn the damn thing on.
Yeah, green light, the operative word here.
What we did instead was we just flipped the breaker off. We're not giving you free electricity.
Yeah, wow.
We're not going to give them free electricity when they haven't given us anything yet.
Wow.
So we've been having these issues throughout a long amount of time. And it's the fact that Eversource is just saying, you know, whatever. They say they care. Does it really show that? And on top of that, I mean, everyone knows, especially if you're from Lebanon, Colombia, that when the power goes out, you're usually sitting without power for a while.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, indeed.
Because they have to deal with a bunch of stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's not the people's fault that are working on them. It's overarching fault. They're not.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like there's no backup, and there's no interest in creating a backup to provide folks when that power goes out, be it a storm or whatever.
Yeah.
That comes in that area. Those people are out for a while.
You're forced to spend $10,000 on a generator that's
Sure.
going to last you for years to come.
Yeah.
When even though that's a whole nother problem
Yeah.
in itself.
Don't even.
And then
start
as
it.
far as guns go,
Yeah.
guns don't kill people. People kill people. And I believe firmly that you should be able to have a gun in your home. You should be able to hold a gun if you so chose. But, you know, there's a thing that says you're giving guns to the wrong person, okay? And I believe that should be studied. I don't think we have enough information yet to really dictate and say, you know what, yeah, we can just give guns to everybody. I disagree with that. I think there should be background checks. I agree. But my thing is that everyone has the right to have a gun. And if they want to get a gun, they should be able to go through that process and get one.
One of my favorite questions during a congressional hearing many moons ago, I want to say at least 15 years ago, was Trey Gowdy speaking to a woman about gun control. And, of course, Trey Gowdy being a representative from South Carolina, now a TV host on Fox. He asked the question, name another Bill of Rights that you have to petition the government to have. And she was like, I don't know what you mean. He was like, name a Bill of Rights that you have to petition, another one other than gun control that you have to petition the government to have. Freedom of speech, do you have to petition the government for that? No. Freedom of religion, do you have to petition the government? No. The right to bear arms is the only one. And again, if you believe that, and I think that's the argument, Trey Gowdy, I wish he was the prosecutor in this case, for people who have gun rights across the country where gun restrictions are, so rampant that it's important to ask that question. Name something in the Bill of Rights. The right to bear arms is the only one we have to petition. Nothing else prevents us from our rights, except this one. And I think it's a fair argument to have. But I'm glad that you're running on those. They are important. Probably many people would say the electric bill is probably more important than guns and education. But I think education is important because of the angle that you're going on as far as trades.
Yeah.
Because those jobs are recession proof. And to be honest with you, what we're learning more and more about the college campus and what people are getting as a degree, those people are far more in detrimental situations today than ever before.
I'll tell you this. The only reason that I went to college in the first place is because when I looked at Indeed and said, oh, I want to be a news anchor, okay?
Yeah.
The only reason was because that said it requires a journalism degree. And I think that's ridiculous. Do you think I should be spending, I think I'm spending $29,000 a year on college, and that's in-state tuition. Don't even mention people out-of-state tuition. It's insane.
I think what was I looking at? Abby Phillips on CNN, Chuck Todd, formerly of NBC, and I want to say Jake Tapper, I may be wrong. All considered journalists, all three without journalism degrees.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about in Connecticut. Because I don't want to travel all the way to New York City when I'm a Connecticut born and I've lived here my entire life. I want to continue living here. But if the cost of living is going to be as insane as it is right now, including the housing market, in 20 years, if the housing market's going to increase about 65%, if it stays the same, the prices of houses are increasing 65%. Not to mention that Rhode Island's going to be at 117%. 117%. And that is just increasing. It's not going down.
Yeah.
It's not going down yet. And of course, obviously that's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
That's
But it has the possibility for that trajectory is where we're going now.
Yeah, within the last 20 years now,
Yeah.
it's been 60%. It's been 65% in the state of Connecticut.
Damn.
So it's like, come on. And then the national average, houses that can be on the market and are on the market, the national average is about 5%. In Connecticut, it's 0.5%. So no wonder we can't get a house.
Yeah.
It's one, they're not on the market, and two, it's so expensive. Because it's not there's what's it called? There's no influx of these houses, so the prices can't go down.
Right.
It's just going up and up and up because they keep limiting the amount of houses that are on the market.
Yeah.
So why? Why? That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. You said that there was something that you wanted to mention, but before we get to that, you said there was some news that you gathered that you wanted to make a point of. What was that about?
Turning point.
Yes.
So at the University of Connecticut, we've seen problems. Okay, there are constant problems, and especially against us at the university. We have had non-stop issues with the people that lead this university and the people that lead the student union and whatever, the activities board. Non-stop problems. Non-stop. We've had even the Waterbury Times come out to an event with Shane Winnings, which, by the way, was the largest event that Turning Point held in the country at the University of Connecticut for the Pick Up the Mic tour. Largest event in the country. And yet the university tried to shut us down during the event. Waterbury Times was there, reported on this, and they were citing, I thought the thing was canceled, blah, 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 blah. It does not matter. Shane Winnings could have showed up without anything assigned, and it's a public campus, a public space, and we're allowed to do and talk about whatever we want. And yet they have a problem trying to limit our freedom of speech. There was an organization that came through Connecticut and came through the rest of the country called FIRE. And they went through, I think you've heard about this.
I've heard of them. Yep.
So they came through 257 different universities and judged them or graded them on their freedom of speech on
That's
campus.
right. I do know this. Yeah.
UConn graded 235th out of 250 universities in the country.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
We got an F. And I believe
in the Constitution state, no doubt. That's the other crazy part.
And it's a public institution that's state funded that we have to pay for. Wow. What's the deal? And now we're also making $100 million renovations on Gamble Pavilion, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but don't you think we could fix our budget deficit a little bit instead of dealing with that?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like universities across the country have been facing budget deficits. Like William Patterson University is in a $60 million budget deficit.
Damn.
But don't you see a problem here? This is a constant effort that we have to go through.
Yeah.
And specifically Turning Point, we have people who are, young Republicans who want to get involved, scared to get involved because they're like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Reese, we get constant death threats.
Wow.
And people threatening us on campus. I had one guy, I'm a journalist, as you know. I go up and talk to people all the time. One guy said, "Oh, I'll talk to you, but I won't talk to you. You're from Turning Point." Oh no. What am I ever going to do?
I'm running out of time because I wanted to ask you real quick about Jaden McCormack, who was their guest yesterday.
I'll make it quick.
Real quick, just 20 seconds if you can.
I'll give you 20 seconds. He claims he's a Christian, but he can't be a Christian if he thinks that people should die. It's simply put.
Yeah.
There's no reason we should be putting people to death or an entire group of people to death. I'm simply firm on the Bible and believe that just because you are against the Bible and just because you are committing a sin does not mean you should die. It's that simple.
And you guys were right on point when you heard about what he said here on this program, because you guys were like, what is this? You immediately were like, nope, we do not endorse this guy.
The night that we found out, we immediately pulled.
Yeah.
And no offense to McCormick, because he's sticking into the race, which that takes guts.
Yeah, sure.
It takes guts, and I think that's admirable, but he could have done that way better.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Hey, William Gifford running in the 8th District. We'll get a website for him. As soon as we know, we will let you know. Support the guy and support Turning Point as well. They're fighting the hard fight there at UConn. We appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Thank you, Mark. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're 91 southbound coming into Hartford, delays 34 down to 32 A and B. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's locked up a mile before 46th Avenue into the downtown tunnel. 2 westbound slowing East Hartford 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound's tight now approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Again, some slow traffic in Berlin. 9 northbound from 32 pretty much up to exit 34 New Britain. If you're 84 eastbound, heavy delays this afternoon. Call it approaching 17 up to exit 23 in Waterbury. Westbound 84 is tied up from the 691 interchange up to exit 23 in Waterbury. If you are traveling southbound on the Parkway, slow traffic from exit 50 into the West Rock Tunnel. Sluggish northbound Parkway approaching 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A partly cloudy sky for the overnight with a low temperature of 56. The hot weather streak will continue tomorrow, mostly sunny, the high 93, 3 degrees off the record set back in 1925 of 96. Partly cloudy tomorrow night down to 63, the high 95 on Saturday with a thunderstorm late in the area, and then a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. High winds and downpours can accompany any thunderstorm on Sunday, the high 84. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
5 o'clock Hartford temperature 88 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. A Hartford law firm hired to investigate on-the-job spending by then New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart has come up with more of what it calls a profound breach of public trust. Here's WTIC's Dave Mager.
The latest report from the Crombie law firm says Mayor Stewart received most of a $150,000 severance payout she was not entitled to. She originally demanded more than $200,000, claiming she should be reimbursed for sick days, holidays, and personal days, some of which she had used and was already paid for. She also approved smaller severance payments for several employees who wound up working on her doomed campaign for governor. As previously reported, the city also paid $31,000 for Stewart's grad school tuition, and last month the same law firm found that Stewart used a city credit card to run up more than $200,000 in personal expenses. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Looks like former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton will cop a plea in a case accusing him of possession of classified documents. ABC's Catherine Falders.
This goes back to that classified documents case. They were investigating Bolton for this, and the FBI went to his home. They were at his home, entering his home, carrying out boxes of what was believed to be information on classified materials, if you will. So they obviously have been reviewing those documents, and they have alleged that Bolton had a number of them. And there have appeared to have been plea discussions that Bolton was entered into with the Department of Justice, of course.
President Trump is making accusations amid the slow pace of vote counting in California's primaries. More from correspondent Alex Stone.
California is typically pretty slow at counting votes, primarily because every registered voter is mailed a ballot, and ballots can take a week to get mailed in, 13 days for all the votes to be counted and verified, 30 days for them to be certified. When a race is close, it can be a while before there are answers. But President Trump is today making claims without any evidence that Democrats are intentionally holding up the vote and trying to steal the election. Republicans are currently among the top vote getters and results coming in here. President Trump is also claiming the U.S. Attorney is investigating the vote, which the U.S. Attorney's office in L.A. is not confirming. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Plainville police are charging a man in connection with a bank robbery from earlier this year. It was February 20th. The suspect, identified as 58-year-old town resident Jeffrey Tebow, displayed a weapon and made threats at an M&T Bank branch on East Street. Police say Tebow demanded and made off with an undisclosed amount of cash. There were no injuries. Following a lengthy investigation, police picked up Tebow at his residence without incident on Wednesday. He's now charged with robbery, threatening, and larceny. Massachusetts woman accused in the murder of her husband is now filing a lawsuit. Karen Reed is suing the town of Canton and the Mass State Police. Her attorneys say law enforcement tried to frame her for the death of John O'Keefe, a police officer who died in a snowstorm in 2022.
I don't want people to think, and as many of my clients have in the past, think, hey, I beat the case, I was found not guilty, so now I can clearly prosecute the police, because that's not always the case. But here, Karen Reed's case, I think, is a little bit more right for the actions that she's alleging here. This was a case where it seemed like there was a brazen cover-up.
Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer. State and local officials today turned out to recognize PTSD Awareness Month. Each June, the goal is to raise awareness from those who experience traumatic incidents, like police officers, firefighters, EMTs, and survivors of domestic violence. New Haven police officer Florencio Cato is the president of the Police Officers Association of Connecticut.
Police officers are trained to respond to everyone else's worst moments. What is often forgotten is that those moments stay with them. PTSD in law enforcement is real. It does not always come from one incident. Sometimes it comes from years of trauma and constant pressures of having to stay composed no matter what is happening around you.
In 2021, lawmakers passed an expansion of legislation for compensation mental health benefits to first responders. On Wall Street today, the Dow picked up 874 points. The Nasdaq lost 23. The S&P was up 30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Tune in tomorrow night to WTIC News Talk 1080 as the Boston Red Sox take on the New York Yankees. Sponsored by BPS Lawyers. When it comes to the law, you don't just need a lawyer, you need a full-service law firm.
Hi, Eric Hogarth with Money Wisdom. This week we tackle what makes the risk of outliving your money so real in today's financial landscape and what you can do about it. Tune into Money Wisdom on TIC News Talk 1080.
Join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra at the Bushnell in Hartford, June 5th through the 7th for Dvorak and Firebird, a thrilling season finale with fiery rhythms, sweeping emotion, and virtuosic violin. Under the direction of music director Carolyn Kwan, this program reminds us why live music still has the power to surprise, move, and inspire. If you're curious about classical music, this will be an exciting experience. For tickets, call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, no, sorry about that. We are back. It's Reese on the radio, and we're going to be speaking to the attorney in the case of Officer Joe Magnano, and I am trying all day to say his last name correctly. He has even given me a card so that I can... Wait, I'm going to try one more time. Patrick Tomasiewicz. Is that good? Wait a minute, hold on. Is that good so far?
It's close enough.
Close enough.
Good afternoon, sir. It's Tomasiewicz.
Tomasiewicz.
Yes.
That's the part that I'm actually screwing up. Tomasiewicz. And I'm going to get it right, but we're going to talk to him in a minute. There are, because this is an ongoing court case, the questions that I'm going to ask may be probative, may even sort of cross the line on what you can and cannot answer, and I totally understand that. And I will tell you right off the bat, Counselor, I promise you I will respect your wishes and what it is you can and cannot get into. As I always tell people, I am a graduate of Law & Order University. I've watched that show all my life, and I believe that I understand exactly what you can and cannot reveal, because this is a defense for somebody's life, and they are going to court, and I do understand the parameters of this case, so I promise you we'll be respectful of that.
I really appreciate that.
And I saw your interview with WFSB, I want to believe that it was, and I know that the first thing you said before the interview was like, okay, what are we going to be asking here? Because you know how important representing your client is in getting his representation in that courtroom and not in a court of public opinion, because if there is a jury, that jury is going to be a makeup of people who are in that community, if indeed you don't try to get a change of venue, which I do understand that there's a talk about that, and we'll ask you. We'll get to that in a second, but we got to do weather and traffic, so stand by for that. Again, the attorney for Officer Joe Magnano is here. His name is Patrick Tomasiewicz. Close enough. We'll figure it out. I'll get it when it's over. It always happens. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. His name is easier to say. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to everyone. And this traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. 91 southbound delays from exit 36 down to 32A and B in Hartford. If you are traveling westbound, 84 delays in East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 46 Sisson Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the downtown tunnel. 2 westbound slowing from 1D up to the 84 West merge. 3 northbounds heavy from the Putnam Bridge over to exit 13B and C in Glastonbury to the Route 2 ramps. 9 northbound slowing approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni. 9 north again slowing getting by exit 32 in Berlin. If you're on the westbound side of 84, delays from the 691 interchange in Cheshire up to exit 23 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound is tight approaching 17 up to exit 22 in Waterbury. If you are traveling southbound on the Parkway, delays 50 into the West Rock. Northbound Parkway delays approaching 46 into the West Rock. 95 South New Haven tight 46 to 44. Traffic moves slow, but your transformation shouldn't. Columbia Implant Center provides full dental implants in just one visit. Open 7 days a week in Manchester to fit your busy life. Get your smile back today at ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We got into the upper 80s this afternoon, partly cloudy tonight down to 56. A 90-degree day tomorrow, the high 93, and the record high 96. So very warm tomorrow. No relief from cloud cover or rainfall. Partly cloudy tomorrow night down to 63. It'll be hot on Saturday with a high of 95, though we will have a thunderstorm late in the afternoon. So if you're going to the pool, keep an eye to the sky for sure. Partly sunny, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm on Sunday. We could have some gusty winds in any of those storms. The high temperature 84. Mostly sunny, less humid on Monday with a high of 77. Tuesday, partly sunny, up to 85. Right now, we've got 86 degrees in Bristol. We've got 82 in Cheshire, and Hartford's checking in at 86 degrees. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
For all station contest rules, go to WTIC.com and click contests. That's WTIC.com and click contests.
Have bad teeth that need to be replaced? Don't like removable dentures? Worry no more. Come on down to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester any day of the week and ask for the All-on-4 procedure. Call us at 860-643-1898.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well,
getting older. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog and your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older, be stronger in the gym, be sharper at work, be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me fix your camera there and make you look good there. You look like that man right there looks studious. By the way, do you take pro bono cases? No, I'm kidding. How do you make money? Goodness gracious.
The answer is it depends.
Yeah, it depends. You've been an attorney, Patrick Tomasiewicz. I'm getting it right. I'm getting close to it. How long have you been an attorney?
40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
And this is something that you wanted to do from the get-go. Or did you?
I mean, this becoming a lawyer wasn't a profession that I chose because it was a profession of convenience or by default. I had a passion since I was a little boy to do what I'm doing. There are stories why. I won't bore you with them, but they're ingrained in my brain today.
Yeah. And the law is just one of those things that you can find yourself sort of attracted to. I'm a big movie buff. And I have, of course, the usual, little boy action drama, action adventure kind of stuff that every other young boy loves. But then I got an opportunity to see a black and white film in my teen years that I was compelled by, 12 Angry Men.
Oh, sure.
Fell in love with that movie. A movie that took place in one room with 12 men with the most compelling acting. Of course, all the names that are in that movie, and it was just, I was completely captured by the litigation inside that room and how it works.
I had a similar experience with
Did you?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes, another great one. Book even better.
And I saw the movie, and I saw it on Broadway in New York, and I remember the great trial lawyer in that film who rose above the tide and fought very, very hard for the client and battled issues of race in that case elegantly and nobly.
Yeah, Atticus Fitch, man, you can't get better than him.
The one and only.
Yeah, couldn't get better than that guy. And dignity personified in that role.
Completely.
Yeah. So you take on a case like this. You were sought after, or did you present yourself to the officer?
So I never present myself.
Okay.
It's just not the way I roll.
Okay.
My services were recommended.
Okay.
And the client came to see me and decided to hire me.
Okay. And usually attorneys are made or broken by their record and their reputation. this I know because I'm really, again, intrigued by the profession that you have. Not going to ask you what your record is. I'm not going to go that far. But from what I understand in my research, you are you're top notch. Is that fair to say? I know you would probably not brag on yourself, but from what I've heard and what I've been able to ascertain on my own, that you are a considerable opponent inside the courtroom.
So I don't think it's the time for self-adulation.
Okay, fair enough.
But I am extremely passionate about what I do. I completely believe in the fight on behalf of another person. There's no higher honor to be asked to stand up for someone like Joe, and I will let people's research and my record speak for itself.
Indeed. Okay. I totally get that. I needed to make that clear. Just it's my interview style. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from.
I respect it.
Okay. So you've looked at the details of this case. You've been able to see the video. I've seen the video. Many others have seen this video, from anything from people who have posted it online and from the dash cam video or the body cam video that is there. You see this from a particular perspective, enough for you to represent Officer Magnano in this case. You see it a certain way. From your point of view and what you can divulge from what you viewed in this case, what can you say to us in your professional view as his attorney?
So to start with, first of all, I refrain from doing interviews in general.
Yes, sir.
I do not want to be a part of anything called a media tour.
Yes, sir.
But if you research the number of electronic entries, social media entries, YouTube, Google, Instagram, others, there's over 1 million views in this case without even counting up postings. Mm-hmm. What I can say about the video is, so therefore I'm here to even the playing field.
Yes, sir.
I am here to provide a little information that I think I'm able to without going beyond what the law permits me to do, mm-hmm. and indicate that on May 20th I gave an interview which really expresses my views about the video.
Okay. And if anyone wants to know what that is, they should seek out that video to get your point of view.
If you go under the name Joe Magnano, click, you'll see the video.
Okay.
You can see my thoughts on it. In short, the use of force was lawful.
Okay. In your view, the use of force was lawful. Have you seen cases like this before in your profession? And when these cases are brought to lawyers like yourself, or in any case, what is the best way, I'd say, for people to sort of glean from that? Should they be looking at this from a lens of what are the practical laws as they apply to the video, or should they be looking at it from some other angle? The reason why I'm asking this is the important part about this, because more people care about the emotion and more people care about who he was and who the officer was and all of that. But when they view these videos, if you were to say people are viewing this video and sort of talking about it, you mentioned social media. When people are looking at this, what are the things in which they are missing when they look at this video? Are they caught up in who this individual was versus who the officer was? What their predetermined or what's the term I'm looking for? Premeditated, exactly. Their own predisposition about the individuals in the case. They see a person with a long knife. I can look at that person and say, oh my goodness, he's got a knife. What do you do? I can look at it as, oh, he's only got a knife. The police officer's got a gun. Why are we sort of caught up in these sort of things outside of what we see in front of us, or what are the facts, like point A to point B to point C?
It's a great question. I mean, my background on this is I do the officer-involved shooting cases for the Hartford Police Department.
Okay.
So prior to the Magnano case, I've had 4 or 5 other cases called to the scene, been trained on officer-involved shootings by the department and others. So to your question, what do we look at? We look at lethality. we look at the lethality index. Is it a real threat of imminent harm to a police officer such that subjectively they fear imminent harm to themselves without commenting on the Magnano case, another person that could be nearby, a police officer, and if they have that subjective fear of imminent harm in good faith, which is objectively reasonable under Graham versus Connor. So if folks want to figure out a particular, without getting into this, officer involved encounter, look at Graham versus Connor. Was the officer subjectively in fear or faced imminent harm? Was that belief reasonable? So, to break it down, if someone's 50 yards away, you're not going to be in a position where you discharge a police firearm. If there is, you have a barricade in front of you, you're behind a wall, and this person is, darting from one car to another, and there's a great distance. Well, we all look at that to answer your question from the A to B.
Correct.
Well, why? But when you have a situation, let's just say hypothetically without commenting on the Magnano case, where you have a person with an instrument such as a chef's knife, or another type of
weapon,
lethal instrument, a weapon, and they are derogating from a command, and they're continuing to aggress, then that's different than being 50 yards away or 75 yards away.
Correct.
And the big thing when you figure out how to get from A to B, there's use of force science, and there's police officer training. It's not like someone steps out of a car and says, okay, I'm going to fire, and I haven't been trained to do this.
Right.
These officers are subjected to hours of training in the field, classroom study, Supreme Court case study, where they are vested with training. And if you don't have a situation where someone's 75 yards away and you have a close encounter with a weapon or some other lethal instrument, the circumstances change.
Right. And they should be viewed that. And I thank you for answering the way that you did, because I think what we're having here is, and this has been very, very prominent within this case and many others. I can go, the list goes on and on. From Michael Brown, which is, again, a perfect example of this, that people have missed. They've seen these, they look at these as sort of person to person, who he was, where he was, and the nuances of the case, or even sort of reflecting on the nuances of this case, immediately get scattered. And people have taken advantage of the fact that the individual is, one, a black male, or the officer is a white male or a white female, that those get to be sort of the deciding or the determining factors in these situations. Benjamin Crump has made that this case with Stephen Brown. I'm not asking you to opine about that. Let me just make this point. The thing that has bothered me the most about this, and you've seen these cases more than anyone, the thing that bothers me the most is that emotions run high, understandable, but there are people who are profiteering in them. And Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, NAACP, be it local or the state-wise, or any other of these rabble-rousers like Black Lives Matter 860, have taken these and they've used them as an extortion tactics in the city or in the state. And that's the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is that Ben Crump comes in here and he uses his prestige to push the envelope or to push public officials to do things that are absolutely reprehensible. And they put people's lives in danger. Why? Not just because they put Joe Magnano in this situation where he's going to maybe tried for manslaughter. But what he does is make the police officers uneasy about using force when necessary, because they are concerned that they may end up in the same space as Magnano is in today. And that extortion hurts people. And who does it hurt more so? It's going to hurt the very people that people in NAACP, the people of the Black Lives Matter groups, and as well as Ben Crump claim to be protecting. They seem to be protecting them from the police, but guess what? A police officer may run into a situation where a black person is about to stab another black person, and because that person doesn't want to end up on the front page of the Hartford Courant, that they will be allowed to stab that other person in there because they're going, I just don't want to have to deal. And that's the most important thing we need to recognize. And if this state becomes a place where Ben Crump or Al Sharpton could just come in and sit in the governor's chair and do a little spin around and get a photo op and then take millions of dollars from this state because they take them from the taxpayer. There ain't no money in City Hall. That money comes from us. And they're going to come in here and they're going to extort us and they're going to take that money. And it is only going to make this state more unsafe. That is the reason why we are standing with Joe Magnano. That is the reason why we are standing with the police here, because they do the dangerous job to protect everyone, even people like Stevie. But this particular case, in my view, Stevie did not protect himself. You cannot have 67 times dropped a knife and then come towards an officer and think that it is not going to end up the way that it did. It just isn't right that people extort this state in using emotion to do it. And that's the reason why I'm fighting so hard to tell this state and tell these public officials, do not buckle to this pressure, because the floodgates will run red with blood. And the only lives that will be lost are ours. And it cannot happen. And they have to think wisely. They do not know what they're doing. They think they're getting social justice. What they're getting is anarchy. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue our conversation. I promise I won't keep you long, but I just wanted to say that. And it bothers me because I've seen this. I've been in too many of these situations. I've been around them too long. And people do not understand exactly what they're doing. They do not know what trouble they are bringing their way. We'll be back. Stand by. More news, more views. Let's get some weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford southbound 91, you got some slow traffic 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, a little slow down by exit 28. If you're traveling westbound 84, delays approaching the Bulkey Bridge in East Hartford out to exit 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slowing about a mile before 46th Avenue down to the Bulkey Bridge. 2 westbound slowing in East Hartford, 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you're traveling into Middletown, 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Again, some slow traffic 9 northbound by exit 32 in Berlin. Westbound 84 in Cheshire slowing 26 up to exit 23 in Waterbury. Eastbound 84 in Waterbury slowing approaching 17 up to the Mixmaster. If you are heading down toward New Haven, 91 southbound, you got delays from 6 in toward the 95 interchange. Southbound Parkway delays 50 in Hamden into the West Rock, and northbound Parkway slowing approaching 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The weather theme the next couple of days is very hot and humid, followed by a cool down. The high temperature was very close to 91 today. The low temperature tonight, 56 with a partly cloudy sky. Mostly sunny, the high 93 tomorrow. That'll be 3 degrees off the record high of 96. Partly cloudy tomorrow night down to 63. The high 95 on Saturday with a thunderstorm late in the day. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm on Sunday, the high temperature 84. Any of those storms can contain some gusty winds and downpours. On the flip side of a cold front, mostly sunny, less humid on Monday, the high 77. And Tuesday, partly sunny, right back into the middle 80s with a high of 85. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Additional allegations against the former Republican mayor of New Britain, Erin Stewart. More from WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
Improper severance, pension, and tuition payments. The latest City Commission Crumbie Law Group investigation finds Stewart improperly negotiated separation payments for vacation, personal holiday, and sick time for herself and several staff members. The report finds she awarded herself a pension without meeting the city's requirement for one, and it also uncovers that she wasn't eligible for tuition reimbursements. This third report comes a day after the Office of the Attorney General and the Department of Consumer Protection announced a joint investigation into her charitable contributions made while in office. Stewart dropped out of the race for governor amid mounting accusations. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
Former Trump administration National Security Advisor John Bolton has agreed to plead guilty to a single count of retaining classified information under a deal with the Justice Department that will likely allow him to avoid prison time. The deal would resolve a criminal case filed last October, which charged Bolton with 18 counts of either retaining or sharing diary-like notes with family members. 8 people are under arrest in Meriden. They're all facing prostitution charges. Stems from a detail that went into effect last month. All are facing a number of offenses. President Trump insists he's comfortable with the current holding pattern in the Iran war. However, the president faces warnings from foes and allies alike that he's getting boxed in on a conflict he sold as a quick military incursion. President today once again reiterating that a deal with Iran could come possibly as early as later this week. On Wall Street this afternoon, the Dow gained 874 points. The NASDAQ picked up 23, and the S&P was, beg your pardon, the NASDAQ finished minus 23. The S&P was up 30 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, stand by, go nowhere. We continue our conversation in a minute, but we only have a little bit of time before we go to weather and traffic. And I'm going to say his name and get it right this time. We're here with attorney Patrick Tomasiewicz. Got it. And he's here. He's telling us, again, as much as he possibly can about the defense of Officer Joe Magnano. Is it fair? Is it appropriate that we still refer to him as Officer Joe Magnano? Because I know that he was let go, terminated, and then had the indictment. But we have been referring to him as Officer Magnano, I think, to pay him homage or respect. Do you think it's right for us to do that?
So in terms of his termination 4 weeks after the event, that's in the hands of another attorney who's doing the labor side of it.
Yes, sir.
But he has a very strong legal position on the case. His name is Marshall Seeger.
Okay.
And he's better situated to tell you about that.
Okay. Well, no, I don't want to know about the case, but I mean, we still refer to him as Officer Magnano, and I think we do that in spirit of, you know, he was performing his duties as an officer, and we don't want to...
So from my perspective, Reese,
yes, sir.
I call him Joe.
Yeah, okay, all right.
And he was an officer, and he's now terminated. I believe he should be an officer. I don't think he should have been terminated.
Right.
But his name is Joe.
Yeah.
His name is Joe Magnano. He's got a mother, he's got a father, he's got a brother. He has a real life.
Yeah.
He's a human being.
And he's a kid.
He was not looking for this encounter.
Yeah.
I call him Joe. I don't call him officer. He calls me Pat.
Wow.
He's a human being.
Indeed.
As was Mr. Jones. And it is the time to say, if the families listening, that whether they believe me or not, I have empathy for their brother, for if he was an uncle, whatever he was to you out there, I have empathy for that. I have not forgotten there's a loss of life here, and I want people to know that. At the same time, everybody knows by now that I defend Joe.
Right. And I think rightly so. I look at this situation. It is unfortunate. There are a lot of things. Again, you're not here for a lot of the stuff that I sort of talk to in this case or speak to in this case, because while you are handling this in the courtroom, I've got to deal with the public opinion or people who are litigating this outside the courtroom.
Yes, sir.
In the court of public opinion, people are saying things about this case that I've got to lay out. Well, if you believe this, explain this to me. If you say this, explain this to me. And I've had people like A.J. Johnson on this program, and I asked him a simple question. Does Stevie speak English? And he didn't understand what I was talking about. I said, does Stevie speak English? And he goes, okay, I assume so. Okay, so does he understand drop the knife? And he goes, well, I assume so. Did he drop the knife? And he says, no. I said, well, tell me exactly why. Somebody tell me why. And I'll go one step further. I said, there are a whole bunch of people who were screaming and hollering, Stevie dropped the knife, Stevie dropped the knife. If he was no threat, why didn't anybody who knows Stevie so well come in there and say, hey, Stevie, come here, give me the knife, drop it. What? Because you felt like you were in danger too, huh? That's right. That's right.
You know, you mentioned the audience out there. There is the game of telephone going on out there.
Indeed.
Number one. And number two, there's a lot of people that are behind their computer screens and they're hitting their keyboards, and they're the judge, jury, and prosecutor in this case.
That's right.
And the only thing that I would stress, because I want to be careful about commenting on the evidence of the case, is please let this case be presented in a court of law. Please let both sides have their opportunity to present this case. And just think, sit back, and disengage a little bit and understand that this is not a one-dimensional situation.
Absolutely. We're going to take another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We return with the attorney for Joe Magnano when we return. Go ahead, Mark. Hey.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. 91 southbound Hartford delays 33 down to 32 A&B, and again 27 down to 28. Westbound 84 slows approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. If you are heading into Middletown, 9 northbound's a little slow. Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Into Waterbury, 84 eastbound delays from 17 up to 18. Westbound 84 slowing approaching 26 in Cheshire up to exit 22 in Waterbury. If you are northbound Parkway, you've got delays approaching 46 up to the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound Parkway, some slow traffic, 51 down to 50 in Hamden. 95 South New Haven, slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got a canopy of high clouds across the region, but those will start to thin out once we get closer to sunset. Should be a beautiful sunset. It'll be down to 56 degrees with a partly cloudy sky overnight. Mostly sunny and hot, the high 93 tomorrow. Partly cloudy down to 63 tomorrow night. Up to 95 degrees on Saturday with the thunderstorm late in the day. So 2 days with near record heat. The record high tomorrow is 96 and the same on Saturday. So make sure you wear loose-fitting clothes, drink plenty of water, stay in the shade as much as possible. Now Sunday we'll get a reprieve. It'll be 84, but we will have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm to deal with. Could have some high winds in any of those thunderstorms. Mostly sunny, less humid on Monday, the high 77. Back into the 80s on Tuesday, partly sunny, up to 85. Right now, we've got 85 degrees in Bristol, 84 in Granby, and at Hartford, the temperature is down to 82 degrees. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Tune in tomorrow night to WTIC News Talk 1080 as the Boston Red Sox take on the New York Yankees. Sponsored by BPS Lawyers. When it comes to the law, you don't just need a lawyer, you need a full-service law firm.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying, where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are still here with Patrick Tomasiewicz.
Thank you.
Goodness, I'm working it. We were talking about a good friend of mine from Buffalo named Mike Kowicki. Another famous. At least no one. Did they have a nickname for you when you were a kid? Were you Tomas or?
It was a long time ago, but yes.
You had a nickname.
I did.
It's. I don't know if it's a old school thing. You, by the way, you born and raised here in Connecticut?
Yeah.
Okay, whereabouts?
Blue collar town, Torrington.
Okay, Torrington. I spent a little bit of time there. By the way, do you have a law license anywhere other than Connecticut?
New York.
I knew it. I felt it. You have a New York vibe about you. I don't know why. Is your practice there as well? Is there?
No. We are on Oak Street in Hartford. We've been there for a number of years. We're right behind the courthouse.
Okay. And you're all criminal cases, or?
So we have a substantial part of our practice is dedicated to criminal defense, but we represent police unions. I just finished 60 sexual abuse cases. Representing minors against the Diocese of Norwich. That was a 10-year ordeal.
Wow.
We do medical negligence, hospital liability.
Okay.
We're a firm that has a David and Goliath mentality.
Yeah, that's noble. I like that. You just literally, for some other reason, you just got my vibe. There's this attitude, I think, that in Connecticut, on this show, I've learned it for so long. There's such a you can't beat City Hall kind of vibe going on here. Drives me through the roof, man. I maybe it's my New York roots, but I'm a punch above my weight class kind of guy. It just is because I got bullied as a kid, and when I learned that I can actually be a bully myself, I decided I was going to be a bully for good, right? So I'm always punching up against my weight class to people who I know who are in power, but I don't care. Because I think that they owe it to the rest of us to be held accountable when they need to be held accountable. And it's never going to happen unless somebody is willing to step up and sort of play that David against Goliath role, if you will.
Listen. Do any of us know how much time is available to us?
Not a bit.
No. So the time that we have, I've decided, 1 is my family, 2 is my law firm, and in my law firm, fight great causes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested in.
I love that. I do, and you just have to. And it's not for everyone, and sometimes it's not innate in everyone. But I love it when I hear people. I talk to so many people across Connecticut. So many people I've met who have done it, and I commend them. I love them. I want to join them on their fight. In their fight, in many ways, I want to promote what they're doing and get other people inspired to do it, because change doesn't happen. We have this saying in AA. Nothing changes if nothing changes, and it has to start with you. You can't sit around and like I told people when I got on this microphone, Pat, that I was not going to be the guy who walked into work every day to just complain about what's happening in the world around me. I got to get out on the street. I got to get out on the street and face the sort of mess that's out there. Get in people's faces, ask them to answer questions, and make them answer questions, and get them and hold them accountable so that they change things for the people who live here. And it's the only thing I got left to do.
I respect that.
I'm trying my best. Godspeed. I know you have a case. Your court case is tomorrow. Is that the arraignment?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I think this is just preliminary, right? So you just go in, plead not guilty, and it's over. Unless something else.
So it is preliminary. I'm not sure we'll be required to enter any pleas tomorrow because
Okay.
discovery is ongoing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But as we close this interview, what I wanted to say to you is thank you.
Okay.
And I wanted to thank you for respecting the delineations of what I can say and what I can't say. But most importantly to your listening audience, I wanted to make a plea to them to please just let this play out through the judicial process. Do not preform opinions off of the click of a computer, off of a video, off of an Instagram posting. There are two sides to this equation.
Indeed.
And a video is a single-dimensional view. There's so much more to the case. So I'm here just to make that pledge while not getting specifically into the evidence. Again, thank you, Reese.
My pleasure. And I think you make a very valid point about people who are watching this stuff online. What they fail to recognize is that videos are never posted raw in the sense of, here, view this. It is always editorialized. It is always, because remember, that person is making a name for themselves, hoping to get viral, and they will always put a caption on there or will narrate the video. You see what the police officer did here? You see what he did there? And while that's happening, the idea of what you are seeing is being placed in your mind. You are being directed to a conclusion instead of finding one on your own. Being objective is completely out the window. And I try to explain to people that is not helping the situation. When you are seeing that and you are being drawn by your emotions or by the person captioning said event, you will be directed into believing what you want to believe. I want to go back to the Michael Brown thing, if I could, with you.
Sure.
Do you know that case? Do you remember that case?
I do, out in St. Louis.
Okay, yeah, in St. Louis. This is the part that
outside of St. Louis.
Out loud. Right. Ferguson. What was it? Ferguson County. Ferguson County. There was something about that case, and I want to ask you this as an attorney, that you would find almost amazing. So when the police department was first investigating the shooting and the investigation into Darren Wilson, the police officer, there were plenty of witnesses who came forward who said that they saw the shooting and they had given a statement to the police. The Obama administration sent the DOJ and Eric Holder down there to find out if there were federal civil rights charges that may be levied against Darren Wilson. So they went there to investigate and also spoke to the witnesses who spoke to local police. In doing so, many of the witnesses who spoke to those police officers arrived with something weird: attorneys. And when they arrived with attorneys and they were questioned about their earlier testimony or their earlier affidavits, many of them said, and I quote, "What I said to the local police is not true." When asked why they lied, they said, "I wanted to be a part of something that was big. I wanted to be a part of the movement that was happening. in light of the shooting. They were never charged. No one was, charged with lying to an officer or impeding an investigation. They should have been, but they were not. What was interesting about that was everyone in the news media, I don't need to say their names, but they were on the air talking about hands up, don't shoot. Mm-hmm. And many people were so enamored by that they wanted to be a part of something. They were willing to lie. These are people who had no criminal records, who had nothing to do with the case, had saw nothing and were witnesses to nothing, who were willing to lie to promote a narrative that was false. Again, not charged, should have been not charged. But the federal agents found out, and in their report, 87 pages, it turned out that indeed Michael Brown was in the wrong and that Darren Wilson was in the scope of his job and of his duties. He was attacked, and he was not attacked once, but he was attacked 3 times, and it was a lawful and justice shooting. As an attorney, I'm just going to ask you, just based on that and from what you know, why is it so important that people not get caught up in the TV and television and online mania that is there?
Because America stands for principles of justice. America has, it's built on principles of fairness. That's doctrinally how we're supposed to treat one another. And to get captivated by the click of a computer when you get a stream of information that comes at you unfiltered, and to just immediately to tether yourself to an opinion without hearing everything is in a way, it's a hybrid of the Ferguson situation. Mm-hmm. That you are on one side or another. This is, you're part of something big, whether you're for Joe or you're not. And it's the runaway thinking that can erode what the priority should be, which is justice is supposed to be blind.
Facts and evidence.
It's about Our Lady justice. And I think inherently people know this. I think inherently they know this, but we're all saturated, mm-hmm. Reese.
Yeah.
By what we're getting informationally. But I think it's just important to think it out, push back, and to go slow.
Yeah.
Because justice requires caution.
Indeed. I want to look up this quote. And this quote means everything to me because this quote was used in my life. I want to make sure that I get the exact quote because I know I'm going to screw it up. But I think that you would love this quote. I think it's perfect for you. John Adams said this: "Facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passion, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence."
That's absolutely true, and I'll give you one by Ben Franklin, the great Benjamin Franklin.
Indeed.
One half of the truth is often the greatest lie.
That is better.
I'm not.
I know you're not
I'm
comparing.
Not saying it's better.
No,
or
it was
worse,
better than mine. I'm sorry. That was really, really good.
But aphorisms,
Mm-hmm.
like you have just referred to, which have been around for centuries, oftentimes are the best guidance to clear thinking today.
I believe so.
Because it's anything but bomb throwing.
Yeah, and I think that's where we've become as a society, and I'm hopeful that one day we will just sort of slow it down and go through it. Forget about the emotions. Forget about people who are trying to get a rise out of us, and just sort of again, don't be sort of swept up by the event, as it were. It's like, how can we make this about us or a cause? We're dealing with people's lives because trust me, down the road it gets worse.
So as much as I'd like to talk about the evidence, I won't, out of respect for the process. But I will say there's a lot here.
Indeed.
And that it'll all be presented in a manner which is responsible and the right decision will be reached.
I appreciate you, sir. And thank you so much for coming down here. You are, again, highly respected. A lot of people who I know, who I respect, know you, and they couldn't wait to get you down here. And I was like, really? So want to come down and speak to me? I was like, okay, we'll see. But you absolutely a pleasure to have here.
Well, I'll say this on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what I'm accustomed to.
I understand.
But when there's over 1 million clicks on this case and postings, I'm just here to lend perspective to this matter and to even what I consider to be the playing field created by others.
Wow. Well said. Okay. Well, again, I totally appreciate you. Let me see. Reese, interested in the angle of extortion you were talking about? No problem. I'll be happy to tell you about that. I will talk about it at length as we continue. Tomorrow, I will be live at the courthouse because I will be interviewing those who will be outside protesting. And I will be getting, I'll be talking to them and communicating with them about the same things that I brought up here and the same things I brought up to Benjamin Crump. People talk about the word de-escalation. That seems to be the word of the day. I will ask them what that means and see if they understand it. They more than likely won't. And I expect that, and that's to be expected. So we are going to be good. Many people are saying, Melody, thank you. Feeling good about the attorney? As you should. Everyone else is saying thank you for the interview. I'm very, very happy that you showed up here.
Can't thank you enough, sir.
Thank you.
For
a lot
your
of
time.
people love this program, and they expect us to give them all the sort of the news stories that are around there, so people to get them an opportunity instead of the 2-minute sound bites that you see on the news media. So this is a place where we can literally have a conversation and sort of get the facts as we can possibly do it. In this case, there's very limited, but I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more in this case. It's time for me to get out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night. Pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. Roseanne will be here. We've got guests to boot and the whole 9 yards. You guys have a wonderful night. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. Sun's still up, too. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Good night, Reese. Thank you very much. If you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84, we have a crash between